Welcome back, everybody. It is time once again for the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2021 Spring Split for the African region. And my, oh my, Max, we were given a lovely treat from all the players on Twitter today for a video thanking them for the support. And honestly, we got to thank them for the support, all the encouragement, the viewership, and everyone entertaining us throughout this, giving us the information for all of the games that we learned some more about this African region. And we finally got here. When I say welcome back, it's because we've had a few days break. We've been able to chill. The players have been able to relax. They've been able to work harder, maybe adjust some things and bring their A game for the playoff stage.
That's what we're expecting. Of course, the A game, that is the bare minimum we're going to be taking. I want some triple S tier gameplay up there, hopefully. But back to the video, man. I just woke up. I saw the video and I don't usually tear up. I'm not an emotional kind of guy. It did get me a little bit. So you know what? For that, you deserve some respect, guys. GG, well play on that one. But it's really appreciated. And overall, we said it many times that we came into the African region not really knowing what to expect, and we got heavily surprised. And all of these teams that are made in top 32 of their region deserve so much respect also. But now the top 16 is down to that one. And we did also get the information here, Bankster. There's actually only one slot for this PMPL. Like, there's only one team of Africa that's going to make it. So second position, it's not going to make it. It's not going to cut the performances you need. You need to be #1 if you want to make it to the next stage. So the stakes are going to be at an extreme height today, Banks.
And this is the thing, right? I've seen some of the comments of other people and they're like, okay, there's only one slot for PMPL. It's like, okay, it may be tough, but before this region didn't even have a way in, right? It didn't have a way to play with all the players from the African region. So we got to look at every opportunity in the positive side of things. And yes, okay, you'll get the best team from the region to represent you guys. But maybe as this goes further, maybe they'll get some more slots. We'll have to see how it goes. But it's still a great honor to even make it to this stage, right? To be one of the 16 best teams within the region. And it is all for this golden glory. Now, we did have a bit of fun, though, didn't we? When this Twitter post came out, we got to pick our teams that we wanted to see potentially win as we get to make a prediction for this. I went with maybe the safe bet because literally I was like, okay, Gun. At the beginning, I was really impressed by KHK. Then Slime 4KT came along. I was really enjoying what we saw from them. And then Gun just came out and pretty much gunned down everyone. They ended up with 4 chicken dinners as well, which we talk about consistency. It's not often you see a team be able to rack up that many chicken dinners, especially when the competition is this tough.
They were just dominating in every way of, like, in every term, in every sense of the term, of course. They were coming into it. Great macro rotations on the circle. They always get in such good positions late game. It was so hard to contest it away. And of course, also their macro synergy in terms of their shot calling was also top tier. And also how they were taking those fights were just, the synergy of all the players together were just so damn good. And especially Nerf Me. One of the best DMR snipers out there I've ever seen. That guy is top notch when it comes down to it. So, of course, you know, you took a safe bet, but I like a little bit of risk, you know, to be in my world. Okay. I love going for underdog teams. And the team I voted for here was actually Art of Killing Esports. The reason why, I have a very, very good reason for that. They were lacking chicken dinners, but overall, their aggressiveness and rotation was really well executed. So their overall improvement path is laid out for them. If you can close off games, you can take the #1 spot. So that's what I hope they were trying to work on, improve on in the past 3 days of break, is try their best to find those wins. Now, second position, third position, sure, that's good to remain consistent, as that's the keyword throughout this entire event. But here you are looking to not only take those top positions, but you need to take #1. So if they've improved on that, which hopefully they did, I think they can take #1 spot. So that's why I voted for Art of Killing for the little caster vote we had going on.
And this is brilliant, right? Because you got to make your caster vote before me. So I was like, okay, cool. I can see what Max is trying to do here. He'll look like a god if he pulls this off. So I'll take the safe bet because we had that funny game, right, where we went for the first and second place. And you got first and I got my team that I wanted to come first came second. So we were close, but they still both qualified. That last game we had in groups, right? That was truly right to the wire. Often you can see which one's a clear cut. And we were all just looking, we were expecting, oh, okay, look, a Razor can do this. They can make their way through. Never did we expect 2 teams to be able to push poor UNK and Existence all the way down.
I always feel really bad about that one. It came down to it, like, was the box just ticking out, okay, this team got eliminated, wait, they're still alive until the last moment. They had to calculate last second to see if they were going to go in. But a game as United Nation, you know, I gave them a title that they did not deserve. I called them the Slaughterers of Dreams, but they didn't slaughter, well, they did slaughter dreams, actually, of, you know what, they left them survive a little too long, so they maybe indirectly slaughtered the dreams of Team UNK and Zeus. Maybe if you're really pushing it. But at the end, this is a great second opportunity for Existence and Eraser Crew, which at the start of the tournament, day 1, day 2, day 3, I was not seeing too much of them. But they're a team that improved over time, like many teams in this top 16 are here today. So if they play on their A game like they did on their final few games right off the bat over the course of these 4 days, I think they could be contesting with top 5 position. After the thing is, I'm going to see this happen today. How much have they improved? If they also took these extra 3 days to work on specific things that were maybe a little bit icky throughout the entirety of the group stage, I think they could potentially take a #1 position. But those are not really the teams I'm looking out for. I would say at the very start, I want them to prove to us, at least today, that they have really, really improved to a stage where you should be careful when encountering these teams.
Well, let's take a look at the schedule for today, right? And let's have a look at everything that we're going to have in terms of the maps that are coming up, because it's the same as always, but you get a little special surprise in here for yourself, Max. You get the beauty of it where you get some Vikendi. Are you going to smile? Are you going to scream?
Yes, oh my god, it's happening. Yes, Vikendi. Oh man, if I get Castle finished today, man, all my dreams are becoming true. I'm believing in okay, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say believe in Father Christmas, but he's true, guys. He's true. I did it last time, but no, I believe in Father Christmas. It is okay. But yeah, Vikendi joining the mix on this one. In a sense, how you want to play it is very similar to Miramar, but big emphasis and focus on compounds and high ground positions, and Vikendi should be good to go. But the main issue with Vikendi also is that it's very open land, I would say, between compounds and high ground positions. So if you rotate a lot, you're taking big odds of getting eliminated early on. So intrigued to see what the African take will be on Vikendi.
And when we get this right, we get Vikendi, we make Max happy for sure, but we also get to see what these teams are going to be able to do when it comes to Vikendi, because we have not seen them play just yet. And do you know what I love about this schedule? Yes, okay, these are the maps that we've got. This is what happens every day, but we see the same 16 teams in every lobby, which means the next 4 days, we're not going to learn exactly how these teams are going to adjust. We're also going to see how they react to what some of their opponents are doing. Now, we also got to do a big shout out to the Renault 5G. It is the Oppo Renault 5G, and it's born to win because for its upgraded performance and fun, you can celebrate your winning spirit with the Oppo Renault 5G. It is the official designated smartphone of PUBG Mobile Middle East and Africa eSports for 2021. So welcome to the amazing PUBG match sponsored by Oppo, and get your game mode on with the new Renault 5G, because that is certainly what we're going to be doing across these next 4 games. And the thing is, right, when it comes to this, Max, when it comes to Vikendi, because we haven't seen any of these teams, yes, they probably scrimmed against each other. They probably know what could be happening. But I would love people to just sprinkle a bit of magic on this now and really try and upset some teams very early on by just playing completely away from what people might predict. Because like we mentioned, they've had 4 days now where they've just been able to relax a bit. They've taken some time off. For some teams, it should have been 3 days because some teams did play, obviously, on the Sunday as well. But in general, they've had a good amount of time to get themselves into a position where they can review everything they've seen from these other teams and make some new strategies on what they want to do today.
Yeah, that's the thing also on this Vikendi game that I find really interesting is that they scrim, but in scrims you can play fake strategies. So there might be some people just gonna bamboozle this entire lobby going into the snowy map of Vikendi. So I'm really intrigued. But now we're gonna go also check out the point rule set as to how you can get those juicy points under your belt. Of course, 1 chicken dinner, as we all know and love, is going to be 15 points going your way. Then second position will be 12, and it trickles down to 8th to 12th position. We get 1 point, and under that is the big fat 0, the bubble coming up. So you do not want to be in the 13th position and below. And of course, the rule set that I think is the most impactful in this one is going to be that infamous 1 point per kill that has been coming into play multiple times. When you're talking about gun, talking about how aggressive this team is, they got himself 85 points throughout the entirety of the group stage. So if you put a big point of interest onto that, your kill points could be worth at the end of this entire finals 50% of your total points. So you should definitely not overlook kill points, and you should always try and strive to get those kill confirms and sure, steal them away, man. People might judge you, but we don't. If you qualify, that's the most important part. So take every frag you can get.
And in terms of just taking every frag you can get, right, we look at it and we say, yeah, okay, you can rack up so many kill points. There are teams that can place, right? We saw, I think it was maybe it was Temper, if I'm remembering correctly off memory, but it was like they finished in 8th, but they still had like 16 kills, and you just go, wow, okay. Maybe it was 12 or 14. It was a high number where I was just like, you went down so early, you got so many kills, so the placement points at that point would have just been a bonus anyway. You sat in such a good position.
Yeah.
And we can see this from many teams, that they are just sometimes better at the engagement fights, right? Maybe they're not rotating as successfully with it, but when they'll go into these fights, they have a lot more confidence. I do remember saying, okay, they didn't make it this far, but one thing they did do is they showed us that, okay, they can change the game up. They started to take some fights that they weren't taking very early on. Maybe when it comes to the next season, they'll be able to learn with it. But I want to put all focus on this season. We're moving on into Erangel. It's time for us to fly into the opening matchup. And it's time for us to see what the 16 best teams in the African region can deliver when the pressure is at its highest. There is only one spot for the PMPL. And it is all coming down to these next 4 days of amazing competition across the PUBG Mobile esports section. So let's see what's going to happen, Max.
The marathon starts now, as you might say, and the playing path of game one is going to be a normal one, not too much of an issue, given a good chance for a lot of these teams to get in a good initial position. From Mil to Power, all over to the side of Zaki. Zaki, I think the most, just not even hated, is just the most forgotten about compound. I think most people just forget it's there in the first place, but it's going to be up there, and teams might be giving it a nice shot. Or Star, but also would like to see some teams go in some unusual positions. But DROGONS, right off the bat, they're going to go for an unusual position, going straight towards Novo, and Spaza Six are going to be nearby. And true, you can see him do a little bit of a U-turn. He saw the side of DROGONS beat right next to him, and he's going straight back towards the west of that island, trying to escape if potential. But True's going to be having to be very careful. While Existence towards Mansion. So far, nothing really out of the ordinary with the drop locations, but I'm mainly looking out at Spaza Six and DROGONS and see if that clash is going to happen, which happened multiple times into the group stage, but with other teams. So I'm intrigued to see what the take is going to be of True of Spaza Six in that one.
This is interesting, right? Because you mentioned that obviously where we see the DROGONS go, but when I look down this and looking at the notes on what we saw previously, 4KT also dropped in South George, where we would normally see the DROGONS go. So maybe they felt like, okay, Nova is the next spot that we can try and take. Within this lobby, there is not normally another team that would be going there. Spaza Six usually do go to military base. We can see them over towards that, but quite for now, at least, it seems like they're hovering. They've gotten some vehicles. They're going to take a longer route into it. Maybe they did expect to potentially take Nova instead. Maybe they had the same idea as the DROGONS that they would start there, but they won't end up with any clashes very early on. With so much, we're going to see other teams put the focus on improving on different maps, because I still think there is a lot of room for teams to grow and explore options, especially strategically, rotation-wise, where they want to sit when it comes to maps, especially like Sanhok and Vikendi. Like, you're a big Vikendi fan. Personally, for me, I don't mind it. I don't hate it, but I can understand why some of the top teams decide like, this isn't really worth our time. And so what is it that you like to see when it comes to a map like Vikendi and things like that go down compared to your angles?
I would say on Vikendi, the thing that I'm looking out for the most is teams understanding which compounds are going to be helping them to their objective of winning a game. Sometimes you've got teams that just rotate for compounds that don't make, I would say, much sense. And I think that if you go for compounds that are always going to be useful and your scouting is on point, that's going to be really important. So mainly just understanding the value of good positions and also scouting in Vikendi is super, super important. We've seen some teams being really strong in terms of scouting, also some that did struggle quite a bit, so hopefully some teams did improve in that quite a bit. But mainly when I'm going to go into Vikendi, scouting is going to be the most important thing of them all, because if you're just breaching into a compound wholeheartedly and you just do not know if a team is there or not, you're already taking a big disadvantage because you're just going into the unknown. And the moment you go into the unknown, you're putting it up to the gods of PUBG Mobile. I would say that you just do not know what's really going to happen. So scouting, looking out for that one onto Vikendi. As on this game, though, it's going to have Pain Africa slowly moving away. The blue zone has been starting to center up. And actually, the circle is centered up pretty nicely around Yasnai, Polyana. So teams are going to make their way in. As phase 2, towards Lipovka, right on top of Gun, the team that you chose, Banks, as to potentially take in this slot of PMPL. But a lot of teams, you know what? Good early rotations, a little bit of blue zone tick damage overall. But this is really fast rotations. And that is what I expect to see every game coming into the finals.
Yeah, this makes this very interesting, right? Because Gun ideally won't have to move at this point, but they are going to see a lot of other teams go around them. We know at times they've liked to take the fights very early on, so I'm going to keep an eye on who else is going to run on by them, what fights and challenges they may take to it, because they can have the good awareness of how many other teams have already been around them, who else is going to take the spots near them. And that's also something you've really got to keep an eye on and keep track of here, right? Is how many players and teams you start to see moving around, because there's been too many times where they try and take a team on, they realize, and then they forget about, actually, this team's been here. They dropped near us. Oh, no. Now they've come and overrun us, and they've taken us down while we were waiting. Sometimes you've got to be prepared for all of it. And Exist, they're going to find themselves getting a couple of knocks in here. Whether they're going to be able to commit anything to it, we'll have to wait and see. But the fights are already starting to take. And that's what we're going to expect from here on out as we do continue to watch all the rotations go around. And Exist, they're one of the teams watching these rotations. They're in a good spot already. They can just sit back and look at everything that's going on around them.
Yeah, they dropped in the surrounding areas, so overall, not having to move whatsoever. The circle is really good for them. And also, one big advantage of the current position of Existence is because not many teams decide to drop on the eastern coastal line, they know that east of their location, there is no one. Unless the circle keeps going east, if the circle indeed keeps on going in that position, they can just keep on retreating towards the coastal line without having to encounter any team to move backwards. I think that's great. As early on, there you go, Cheddar. Gonna find himself one knock and instantly the kill confirm onto Brent God. So that's going to be already one kill coming up their way for the side of Blackjack Esports. Off to a good start, I would say.
Yeah, they were not messing around on that. Easy first kill to start off with, but they were straight away confirming it. Not waiting to see anyone else would come challenge them. They'll pick up the easy point for no problem at all. Done. Again, we said that they won't be moving around. They got a slight 2-2 split going on. They're not all grouped up exactly together. They'll be on the hunt. And I would say if you're MG right now, be a little bit careful because someone might see you just running out in the open. If you, oh no, oh, the poor guy. That's a tree, luckily, just in time. But you've taken some damage. Your teammates, they're in the distance. I don't think they're going to be able to come and save you. And Gunnar saying, it's all eyes on you, MG. We want an extra kill. We want an easy one at that.
Should be pretty easy, hopefully. He's pinned down in a position it's really hard to rotate away, but Plaza's going to be moving backwards, actually. As AOK seem like they get involved into a fight. Maybe I curse them after all. Hopefully not. There's a lot of wiggle to that MJ scope. That was a little bit of a weird one, but yeah, BJ, there you go. Going to get himself the smoke up, trying to move away. Pops another one just in case. There's going to be a move out, actually. Sending a car forward. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so. They're trying to get an off angle, actually, just for MJ. Because this is actually a tree that makes it super hard to have 100% coverage behind. So having off angles to potentially get MG is great, I believe.
You can see it. The rest of them are just waiting for him to move. Or MG probably realizes, probably talking to his teammates like, yeah, guys, I would love you to come save me. But this isn't the most ideal situation for you to save me. There is a vehicle, though, from his teammates coming in there. And this circle, well, it continues to benefit the guys in the center. It's gone slightly up towards the northwest, but only just slightly. And most of the teams will find themselves already in it. MJC, they're just on the outside. Pain are coming on through as well. Slime 4KT, they've got the northern eastern side to themselves right now. But they are going to find themselves getting closer towards the side of Exist. And that's a team they might be fighting off against if they continue to push on within this one. But already we got to this phase, the circle's small, a lot of teams already inside, and we still got 16 teams up. We've seen a couple of knocks, we've seen a couple of kills. We're currently 61 players alive, but soon it's going to get crazy. Soon we're going to see the action start to unfold.
I think the action is going to be unfolding for DROGONS. I was just about to talk about them. They are making their way very close to Undisputed African Esports. So some fight will be happening, but not only them, but Blackjack Esports also. So there's a lot of teams potentially gatekeeping in the south, also for atlmagicians. So they all got to be extremely cautious on the next move they're going to be taking, because this circle hard shift up north is not going to be fun to deal with if you're a southern team. Dan, survivalist, as I call him, going to move away. Oh no, spray coming out, mid HP. He cannot move away from that compound.
Feels bad, man. He was hoping he could come by and maybe help his teammate out. He may have to give up on that idea. Dan's still trying to take some shots at the cars passing by. Right now, Blackjack Esports, they're just enjoying the field day of taking shots at everyone passing by. The madness continues. Nero's just bleeding out. No one's going to be able to save him. And he's just sat there waiting for his death to happen. He can't move. He needs to keep a little bit of cover he does have. And Dan's just contemplating every opportunity. You called him a survivalist. He has survived so far, but he did take shots at AOK, who looked to try and take the fight back towards him, and he finds himself completely swarmed. Blade's coming on by. Manphilus could jump into this. Oh no, Blade. Are you aware that this could be happening? Door's not been breached just yet. Manphilus is waiting just behind. I like the checking of the windows. He wants to ensure that no one's going to be able to sneak around just yet. Blade's making a fair amount of noise. He's put the car in the way, and he's going to sit there for now. Oh no, poor Dan, the nade lands. We continue to talk about the nades for the African region, and we've enjoyed this. I remember, what was it? The game on like day 3 where we saw maybe 10 or 12 knocks from grenades and then extra kills of it as well. It was insane. They look to keep this up. We expected the skill within this lobby to get higher, and well, they've certainly showed it.
Yeah, the only region to have for their specialty grenades are the Chinese region, and it is known so far as the best region in the world. So you know what? That's a big thing for this African region overall. To all the African teams, they are on par with the grenades of China. Now AOK trying to push their way forward, looking for the second knockdown. Blade, he tried to help, but unfortunately could not do anything, so he's getting the hell away from this one. As DROGONS also, they get popping into the kill feed fully once again. Bot Jeff got encountered. Yeah. They got split. Taking multiple fights at the same time. DROGONS were just not able to deal with it. So hopefully next time they're in a similar position, they'll try and stick together as much as possible, because here, getting split definitely caused their demise in my eyes. Oh my god, the circle's going to cause the demise of all these teams, apparently. Northwest, and not, there's very little compounds. I think there's like 3 compounds maximum there, and that is it.
So Gun just haven't been moving. They've been taking a few shots from where they were sat around. They watched a lot of teams rotate around them. INF are just going to be blessed by the edge on the western side. And everyone else is going to find their way back in. And as this circle gets smaller, the fact there's still 16 teams alive is impressive. We've seen some fights to start off there. The little battle we just saw there for the Drogons really didn't work out. It started off with one player getting knocked, and then he just couldn't move. They tried to save him. Then Dan had the grenade chucked out towards him. Blade was there and was saying, oh, maybe I'll be able to help. Then Bot Jeff dies elsewhere. It just means, oh, I'm alone. Okay, great. Now I'm just going to go and turtle up as long as possible. So poor Blade, he's known as the Day Walker. Well, he'll be walking all alone in the day for the rest of this until someone guns him down. He's got to try and get some points wherever possible now. Otherwise, they'll find themselves being the first team eliminated.
Nerf me. I see it. I see the headshot on the Mini 14. He's doing it once again. He's popping off once more. Going to be amazing for the rest of Gun. As you said it, they did not have to move so far, and they're just going to be picking fights left, right, and center. They are just fishing for kills by now. Flame SLR also another going to be looking for a few shots on a ATL Magicians. So ATL Magicians, they went towards the side of Primorse. They've been doing some wild rotation this entire game, and now they're just encountering so many teams on the outskirts towards the southeast. Legacy is going to really try and pop off the heel, which he is in a good position. Flame can't deny that from this distance. So that heel should be good. But I'm looking at, especially at the side of Existence, they need to move into the circle. And right west of where they are currently, there's an entire squad waiting to take them down.
Yeah, hopefully they've heard the shots and they've got good awareness that this is going on around them. As we see the YONKOUS down here, having to use the cards and smokes for cover for now already. Lewis taking a fair amount of damage. Not in a good spot as it is. Trying to take some shots of passing cars and use the dips in the ground to their advantage. Continue to place the smokes up there as well. There's 4KT, they're under fire. You can see it on the kill feed. It's KHK and 4KT having an early battle on here. And this is what we expected to see now, considering we're at phase 4 and there was still a good amount of teams remaining.
The Beast, able to find himself one. YONKOUS, they want to go for the push potentially throughout this fight. They need to move out, especially in the dip. This is not great to be, and so many teams are roaming around of them, getting ahead of their position. Things could be looking very scary, but hey, United, Undisputed African eSports, sorry, going to be coming in hot with that one onto ATL Magicians, and I believe that ATL Magicians might just be our first eliminated team of this game. So we'll have to see what they can do and bring to the table later on. But Existence, I said it, they had a really hard position to move away, and they're like, we're not going to go straight center circle. We're going to wrap around, go up north, and contest the east of Yasnai Poliana, which I think is great. And he got himself a good shack, but from where El Chapo is, one grenade through the window could get the knocks. But you really got to thread the needle because it's a very, very small window. But I'm looking at El Chapo to see if he can maybe pull it off.
We'll have to wait and see how it will go down for them all. El Chapo did this before, we remember. It was on Miramar. He pushed himself up towards the other team. It almost looked like we're going to be able to take a big win. Oh, but it just didn't pay off for him. What? What?
On Gun again?
You live in the dream. Every circle. They've not moved.
How much did they pay the circle gods? How much? How much? Tell me a price. I need to know. God, how dare you?
I can't tell you my price is too expensive. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, so you're the? It was you. Oh, it was you all along.
Remember, I have the button, Max. I have the button. I have the power.
Still using that. We said that weapon was banned, just like Exodia and Yu-Gi-Oh. What the hell? This is not cool.
I don't need to summon all the pieces. I just need one. It's me and my finger. That magic button gets pressed.
Piece of them all.
Plenty of shots being taken. We praise Nerf Me over and over again. The YONKOUS are going to struggle to move around from that. And already, his teammates may be able to come back him up, but look at your position you're in. You're pinned down. You haven't really got much of a ridge line to hide behind. Nerf Me's just looking, waiting, and they are going to leave their teammate to die. More shots are going to come out towards them on the car. They will stay alive for now, at least. And Nerf Me, Nerf Me's probably looking at this going, this is confidence. What are you guys doing? Nade pinned, nade ready, nade going to go down. And the YONKOUS, they will avoid it. It's not going to cause them any problems, but it will split them up a little bit. 4KT, that's all of them going down.
Yep.
I believe that's a team
fully eliminated. Yeah, it is. It is a full team wipe. They just got taken out of that entire game. Feels bad, man, for the Slime 4KT. Now there's only one compound left alone. The rest is flat terrain. Nothing to hold on to. That means that whichever team still has a bunch of cars available, crash into a tree and you should be in an amazing position. But Gun, they're going to be contested all around here as so many teams are eyeing out this position.
I love that. So I was just watching on the kill feed while you were talking there. Yerbot just spotted one and we sadly moved away from him. And as we moved away, Yerbot was able to just sneak round the rocks, avoid Gun and take some shots at SG and even pick himself up a straight kill. Confirmed it instantly. So at least we'll get some kill points in there wherever possible. Pain, well, they are causing a lot of teams pain. They're up at 5 kills already. Only 9 teams remaining right now. And Pain don't care about being out in the open. They've got a bit of cars for cover. Some shots are coming out towards them, but they're not heavily pressured directly. Right now, it's more of these long-distance fights they're taking, and they're gaining ground to push further up in. But the next route is going to be the tough one, because it's INF looking down the barrels of their guns, looking at them. And Skydo, are you going to do it with a grenade? Could this be the element of surprise? Oh, no. Do it. Do it. Will they see? Will they notice?
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Looks like a banger. Oh, they went inside. Okay.
He did alert and Plaza straight away went and looked over like, what are you doing? What was that? And then jumped off.
Plaza jumps right away like, oh no, please.
Straight up game away. Left his
like,
teammate
oh, no,
as well.
gonna
Just
get
said to his teammate, it doesn't matter. It's like, I'm going to leave. You just hang here with the grenades.
Oh, there you go. That might be another bang, actually.
Oh,
we'll see. Plaza puts him down
better.
to mid HP. Man, they're looking clean. We have so many nade knocks and kills coming through the kill feed also, but oh my god. INF, they're continuously trying to hit those. Okay, good. He gets it. Skydo. Oh, the third one will be the proper nade. And now they've got the man advantage. Are they going to full on breach it? Knowing INF, I'm pretty sure they will.
They should breach it at this point. You've got the numbers. You know he's going to have to revive and heal up. There's only 2 of them inside. Remember, it's a 2-2 split that was going on here for Gun. And this may be where it comes to be their downfall. INF looking to take full advantage of this. They're checking everything out. Some more nades going up. But Gun are trying to use the fact that they're already in the compound to their advantage in any way possible. He did it again.
Skydo, another nade. Yes.
What? And INF are not taking this fight. That's mad. Oh, they're pushing on round.
Moving away.
Need to be careful. He didn't have a gun out. Hassan's on his own, though, and he gets taken out. That's not what they want to see. So it's a 1-for-1 trade-off with it. Plaza's gone down, but now, Broly, you need to get with the rest of your teammates.
He's saying, you jokester, you don't do that. Come on, that's a throw and a half. But you know what? At least the rest of the team should be making it in there unscathed. But now, Gun, they had the circle luck for way too long. The circle now is going to be hard shifting completely away from their side, actually on the edge of the blue zone. So that's a really big hard shift. As now you have in the side of Undisputed African Esports on the curve, having a hard time as Blackjack Esports trying to deny their position. They need to make it through. The Blackjack Esports are going to be the gatekeepers of this game. They're going to try their best. Actually, Blackjack are nading themselves. This is not how you want to kick off this fight.
Certainly not what you want to see happening. But can they recover? UAE looking to be able to push it here. They're already up at 7 kills. But same for BJE. So this is the battle of the ones with the huge amount of kills early on here. Could this be a problem for both of them where it's too much of a committed fight? They seem to want to be able to take it. Sahil's trying to move on forward. Matrix is there as well. He catches them with their backs turned a little bit. Able to find the first knock as well. Straight in for the second.
Wow.
And it could be all over for him if they're not careful. Cheddar's trying to battle back a bit. But Inspector, he's looking around. He knows he needs to make some magic happen here. They're being careful all the way. And it does look like they will all go down for it. So they'll be able to pick up. But that was a bit uncomfortable at times. Oh, no.
Oh, Nerfy is in a really bad spot. Ah, he's gone. Bye-bye. See you later. Oh, no.
I don't think they got many kills either.
I don't think they were able to because they were in a position to... there's so many teams around them, but they're in such a good position, like down the cliff or also from a very far distance away. So I don't think the gun got that many, actually. We'll have to check going into the leaderboard later on, but I do believe they had a very small amount of kills, maybe 2 or 3 maximum, I think. Now down to top 3 teams and 3 kills only getting away of Yumi, Hero, SnowX, and also Ellie. Potentially looking for a bunch more. If they can get the win, that'll be big. But SnowX, he's got himself the ghillie suit. You know what's just about to happen. He's going to snake his way dead center to the tree, create a point of pressure potentially from there. And UAE still on the hilltop, which I'm surprised haven't given up the hilltop position. Oh, no, because Circle's on top of them. I just realized, wait, the Circle's actually for them. So they're in a fantastic position. UAE just don't have to move an inch.
Now, one thing I've got to touch on real quick when we saw this. SF is obviously used to be eSports. They changed the name. They're now Scrim Farm AF. So a slight change up in that one. So welcome to the new name. They bring it for the playoff stage. Let's see if they can walk away with a new name and a big win to kick things off with here at the playoff stages. Only 3 teams alive. And now it's a big fight on their hands. Lots of smoke. You already spoke about it. Quite a high amount of open ground in here. UAE, they are benefiting from their position, but they're also dead center between the other 2 teams. So this is where it could be problematic if they all attack you at the same time. They're going to have to play this smart, and they're going to have to play it well.
Hades is crawling really far, looking for the angle. If he's getting, I think he's close enough to actually check a grenade, and it all behind one car. One grenade from Hades could be the demise of UAE.
Is he able to pull something magical like that off? We continue to see the grenades displayed over and over again in multiple games from the African region so far. SF finding themselves heavily under fire. It's not working out for him. Snowix, he tried to steal it away with the ghillie suit, but it's not going to work out. UAE are racking up all the kills, and now they've only got 2 more players alive. It's a 4v2. A nade's gone forward, but it doesn't quite go deep enough. And now UAE will have the information of what side these players are going to attack from. And Inspector's position is huge. If he is able to sneak all the way around, he can jump all over the remaining 2 players of INF, and they can close this out with a 16-kill game win.
Nice.
But you spoke about it. The nades, they have potential, and that is a start for INF to play off. They jump up. They want to finish Maniac off. He does tag him up, but he can't finish him off. He can't frag him up completely. Sahil's there as well, looking to provide some cover fire, but they're just jumping up and down. Bobbing and weaving, poking for now. Nice nades continue to go forward, but it's not going to be one that's going to finish him off just yet. Inspector still on the side, but he was spotted out. Hades under fire as well. They're trading. Oh, it's so close. No one yet able to finish him with it. And there's going to be a bit of a stalemate while they try and regroup themselves. Careful of the nades. No. A nice bit of damage. Hades is low. The smoke's going to be deployed as well. And INF, they know their backs are against the wall. UAE have the circle, and INF will have to move. 20 seconds is not a lot of time for them to make a decision here. And yes, they've done incredibly well. Second place with 8 kills in a game like this. But it's UAE who want to go for the huge win to kick off their playoff games. And that's exactly what they're going to start with. Hades, he's going to struggle to bring his teammate up. He expects a close range fight. He expects them to push on in. The hill spraying through, trying to find it, and he gets the end one. Inspector from the side with the last kill, and a big win for UAE.
I just love how Inspector closed that one off. He was down south of that entire position, just waiting, having the perfect off angle, by the way. And then they like, okay, INF, we're just going to smoke it off so he can't peek from there. And he's like, oh, smoke there. I'm just going to walk up north and get another off angle. And now his smokes mean nothing. So overall, Inspector, I think, was doing really good in being proactive. Look at the kills of Undisputed African eSports. That's going to be 14, 15, 16 kills on their very first game. 16 kills and the chicken dinner. That is definitely what I'm going to be calling myself a banger. 31 points total coming out from UAE. And also Inspector and Sahil, 6 and 7 kills respectively. That is one way to kick off your finals event in this African PMCO. But even below them, it's very top heavy in terms of kills overall from a few of these teams. And then Scream Farm, 3rd position, 3 kills total coming their way. They were struggling quite a bit because of that northern position not being great with this kind of circle. But UAE being so proactive, and they were getting gate kept at one point heavily by Blackjack Esports. They both had 7 kills at that time, and UAE, despite having the hardest and weakest position, they were still able to pull a win through. So UAE, big win for them. This is what you want to see from a team that's trying to secure that PMPL slot.
And 31 points for UAE straight away. That's exactly what you want to see. If you're starting off the playoff stage, not only was it a good win, but it was a win that you went for with 16 kills. You had to fight for it. You had to work for it. Some of the other teams that got eliminated early on, we saw DROGONS. They did struggle. They found themselves in a tough spot very early on. KHK only getting 1 kill point alongside Temper as well. Again, this is only the opening game, so you can't read too much into it, but it is certainly a momentum that can play into some of these other teams that did well. You look at the top players with kills like 16, 8, 7 for some of these teams. That's a good start that you know you're on form from the very start. If you can do that at the beginning, you can have some confidence and your head held high to move on forward to game 2.
I was about to say, we're going to check out the second page. I was like, no, we don't have a second page anymore. It's just one page. We just got 16 teams now. Hey.
It's the same.
Making our job way easier right there. But of course, that was the first game on Erangel. But usually, at least in the group stage, we had 2 Erangels a day. Now we're only going to have 1 because Vikendi, my boy, is back in play. So 1 Erangel. So the teams that tend to do normally really good on that map, such as Influence Rage Africa, which they did take a second position there, big win all around. They're not going to be able to play that map anymore. So for teams like, once again, Influence Rage Africa, you mentioned it. You wanted to see teams potentially improve on maps on which they're maybe not the most, is not their strongest map. Here, INF, I'm looking at them to do good on these Miramars, do good on these Sanhoks and these Vikendis also, because the Erangel games alone, you're only going to have 4 Erangels throughout the entire event. It is not going to be enough to make it through to the next stage.
And one thing we also got to mention is the fact that in game 1, we already got to see the great display of nade usage. I don't know what it is with the African region. You mentioned that it was the Chinese players that are also known for being incredible at nading, but maybe Africa's going to give them a run for their money with this one, because I just want to see more of that. Well-placed nades from start to finish is something I can certainly get behind, mate.
I think overall, it is great to see that the nades are just being so well played from the African region overall. And the rotations too. They were a little bit slower rotations going into the group stage, but now coming at this one into the finals. The rotations, boom, circle pops, instantly teams rotating in super quickly, especially upon phase 2 and phase 3. After that, it did slow down a bit because it was very flat terrain. It was not really fun to play with. But overall, the nade plays, once again, fantastic. Keep it up, guys. You're insane on that one alone. But the macro rotations alone in a circle, as hard as this one, are really, really surprising me in many good ways. So I want to see a lot more of that, especially into that Vikendi game, because that rotational path from a lot of these teams in that game is hyping me up heavily for Vikendi later on.
Oh, it really is. Now, we've just been told we got to show the schedule. We've been talking about Vikendi and we got lied to. No. We'll bring the schedule back up.
No.
Max was just trolling.
No.
Oh, this is the best thing ever. This is the best thing ever for Max's heart. Max just got duped and told that they were going to see Vikendi, and then we just hear it in our ears that we've been talking about this for no reason, because, you know, we're still getting Erangel come in. We do get 2 Erangels. Max, you got given a little lifeline and then it ripped away. How does it feel?
Well, we're here just to suffer. I can't. You got to tell them when you're fine, but you're not actually fine. So you just look like you're fine. I don't know. I'm feeling like Katy Perry right now. I don't know what to say. Double Erangel. Yeah, cool for INF. Not for me though, but INF is playing, so I guess that's cool. Yeah, awesome. Can we go to a break? I want to go cry for a second. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that sounds like something we should do. We'll go and take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be moving on to Sanhok. There is no Vikendi. We did get it slightly wrong, so I'm going to allow Max to console himself, relax for a little bit, you know, and get some tissues, maybe just hug a map of Vikendi if you have that printed out somewhere, and then we'll get back and we'll go to Sanhok. It's coming right up after the break. We are back and we are already done with game 1 of Erangel. And if you didn't see us before the break, you may have just found out that Max has been upset from start to finish because his beloved Vikendi has been removed. He was trolled by production. Just looking at your face. Oh,
Stop
Max,
it.
I'll leave you alone now. You know, it wasn't me. You know, I have control over the circle. I have the magic button with that. I never told anyone to put Vikendi in. That's why I was surprised. I was expecting double Erangel, and then it was just a lie. They just really wanted to hurt your heart. And now you've got to suffer with the fact that you're not going to see it through the rest of the tournament, mate. I'll stop mentioning Vikendi. Maybe. Okay, I will now. Yeah, I'll leave it. Because we're going on to Sanhok next. That's what it's all about. I've finished upsetting you, Max. Sanhok, right? We've seen some games that are, obviously, it's one of the smaller maps that comes out in it. We've seen some of the crazier games that go all the way. We've spoke about games where we've seen some of these teams be able to not only just be able to take control of games, but they would almost march on forward, not only necessarily winning from high ground advantage, but the fact that they were just, I'd say, tactically better and individually better on the skill side of it. But when we look at this, what are you expecting to see when it comes to this type of lobby for it? Because I feel like a lot of these teams have a same play style where they don't just go for center circle. We just saw an Erangel. Yeah, Gun stuck with it. They wanted to take that forward position. Okay, didn't have bad placement, but they didn't get many kill points because of it. I feel like on Sanhok, what we've seen is a lot more aggression, a lot more confidence from some of these teams where they will just fight, and continue to move on forward.
I think that one of the main issues that we had so far in all these Sanhok games is the fact that you have teams going into these fights that are not even needed. They're not necessary. And the one thing you got to do your best going into a Sanhok game is maneuver around fights that aren't worthwhile. If you can avoid a fight, do so, because position, especially late game position, is so key to potentially securing yourself top 3, top 2, or chicken dinners from time to time also. And we talked about the importance of scouting in normally what would have been a game 4 onto Vikendi, but now they've got to scout on other maps, which hopefully they're going to be fine with that. I see so many teams overlook scouting in Sanhok because like, oh, it's Sanhok, it's an aggressive map. Oh, you never know what's going to happen. If you scout and you know where a team is, you can just avoid it. We saw it with Saints. We saw it with 777. They did not do it. They died many times because of that. So hoping that now today, I'm going to see a lot more teams focus on scouting other than just taking fights and going into the unknown. Because sure, Sanhok is a hard map. And I truly get it. It's such a hard map to be consistent on, but you can be still consistent team. I've seen many orgs and teams in general throughout PMPLs, PMWLs, PMGCs, all that good stuff, rather consistent actually coming into a Sanhok game because they scout and they take fights if those fights make sense. If you take fights to make sense, you're increasing drastically your odds of winning a game. So I want to see teams put a lot more focus on scouting, looking for position, and just maneuvering around teams and compounds if they can do so. Because we saw teams sometimes scout and not even do anything. So sure, scouting is good, but then you must do the good idealing decision as to is it worthwhile or not? Yep. So those are the two things I'm looking out for coming in this Sanhok game, is mostly around scouting, see how teams are going to do and if they can execute on it. And if so, we might be some teams slowly becoming the kings of the jungle, I might even say.
The one thing these kings of the jungle need to make sure, right, is that they do not think about what happened in the first game. Yeah, maybe you think about it if you're the team that did really well. Yeah, you take that forward, but it's all about the reset they show themselves going into this, because every game matters for sure. You can have a couple of bad games, but it's this early on where we can say, cool, we can chill out for a little bit. We can make sure that we just get ourselves into the better position this time. And it's learning from every single mistake. Obviously, this will be the first time all of these guys have played Sanhok together directly, and especially in the playoff stage. So maybe you get some clashings. Maybe we'll see something change around. But I think ultimately, this is going to be the true test for some of these players on how far they can think they go. Because if it, say by the end of the day, if they don't really have a good foothold, if you're walking away with like just a few points, then your average game point that you're going to need to grab is going to be just almost too much to handle, because you're not going to be able to deliver that if these teams can bring that consistency. And that's why we come back to it. You look right now, there are already 5 teams with over 10 points. PAINAF are just float lower down than that with 7. But already having that much of a jump up, you're like, okay, UAE got the win, but they got 31 points off that game. 31 points just to start the day off with. If they can just even sit with another 15 to 20 points throughout the rest of the games, they're going to be loving life. They're going to be miles ahead of everyone else. And it's all about that number 1 spot. So it's everything about going forward with. It's like, yeah, okay, you might be happy that you made it this far, but there is only one PMPL spot left. And that's what it comes down to. Everyone is fighting for their chance to represent Africa right now.
Just to give a good point of reference of what players and also the viewers can expect to see, what you can say as a good average per game is around 10 points. Sometimes a little bit less, like 8 to 10 points is going to be the average. That if you can hit an average per game of over 10 points, you're in an amazingly good position. And now you're looking at this one, you know, you got yourself already 31 points for Undisputed African Esports, an extra 19 points. And for me, they did a really good day. So overall, they just got to now remain consistent. If they are given an opportunity to close off a game, man, seize it, go for it. You could even overtake that 50-point average. I would like to see sorry, not 50 points, no, just an extra 40 points actually is all they need to be in a good spot. Man, math is, yeah, I said it, is not my strong suit. I'm still giving it, I'm giving it a try regardless. You know, I'm trying to improve every day. I'm like reading like third grade math books. I'm giving it a try. I'm trying to improve as much as possible. But regardless, third grade start, I don't know. Yes, I'm trying. Okay, I'm starting slow. Okay, it's okay. But regardless, that's what you want to see. Teams making 40. That could be a good one.
With PUBG, right? They'll do like quick math of points per game, and we'll get you to do some additions on it. Maybe that could be a whole segment. Maybe when we really need to fill time, we'll do the PUBG math book quest, and I'll say to you like, okay, a team has second place and they got 16 kill points. How many is that? Go, Max.
Wait, no, I'm blanking out. Wait, can we, dude, you put me on the spot. I was not ready for that. Oh my, how dare you do this to me? People are going to judge me so hard. No, wait, second position is 12, 16, 6, 20, no, it's not 20. Is it 20, 28? No?
I don't know the answer. I didn't plan to right. I just
You're not planning on me to answer, okay. Damn. You got very low hope in me, I see, Banks. Okay.
Yeah, I expected it to be so bad, mate, that we were never going to have an answer to this. So I would have just been sat there looking like it would have been fine. That's what I've come to know about your math skills so far.
There you go. Was that something? It's a. Okay, can we wait, Gabby? Can we go in game, please? Can we move away from face cam? We need to go in game now. I'm trying to escape from this one. 1 minute. I'm stuck here. 1 minute was Banks. Oh no, please no. I'm looking. You're actually stuck here for potentially a few more hours. We've got 3 more games to go. And honestly, I am going to say one thing when it comes to this. Teams right now, if they're going to show up on day one, we talk about consistency all the way through. Yes, we've seen this. This is what leads to success. But I'm going to really be looking at chicken dinners for top 16 because that's probably going to be the difference maker for any of the teams that can be reasonably consistent within the top 5, top 6 across the days. Because there's only one spot here and because it's all on the line for first place, these chicken dinners become so much more valuable than it was in the group stage. When we look at it, right, I'll go look back now at what we saw at the end of it all. So at the very end, the teams in first and second, so Gamers Unite had 4 chicken dinners, but they only had 100 placement points in total. So the average in terms of placement points, considering they got chicken dinners, isn't that high. Temper had 111 placement points and they got 2 chicken dinners. But realistically, there wasn't a huge amount of teams that needed chicken dinners. There was a load who had just had 1 who didn't even make it to this point. So in group stage, just because you have to hit inside the top 16, you can get away with a little bit more. But now when it comes to it, chicken dinners are that much more valuable because of the extra boost it gives. And almost you're guaranteed a few kill points at the end, no matter what happens to it. So let's get ourselves into Sanhok. Let's get ourselves moving on forward. Let's fly once in again. And let's make sure Max doesn't have to do any more math. Hopefully. But we all know that when you're a caster, that is something you got to do. So I'll keep on improving it over time. Regardless, now making our way onto indeed the map of Sanhok for game number 2 of our finals for the African PMCO Spring Split 2021. That was a big title. Yes, I nailed it. Playing path is going to be from Hatin all down to the position of Kampong. So overall, once again, nobody cares about the playing path in Sanhok, but it can allow you to get just a little bit quicker down to your main drop-in location to get that loot underway and potentially take some early game fights. Because you also brought this up earlier, Banks. The fact is, you're going into this lobby where it's teams that really have not been always playing up against each other, so we might still have some drop locations being contested. So I'm going to be looking at positions such as Bootcamp, see if that's going to be taking a fight early on, or Paradise Resort also. And talking about Paradise Resort, we got Temper and also atlmagicians, and seeing how atlmagicians are moving away, seems like they were not ready for Temper to actually drop in that position, but already a few frags coming on through, it seems. Oh.
Crazy to think that early on. Again, it's always a razor, isn't it? They always love to fight early. It doesn't seem... We thought it was just because they were growing for so many extra points at the end of the group stage. Right now, they're sat there saying, nope, we're going to continue this going forward. And actually, I just saw DROGONS. I believe that was a player being killed as well. They don't want that very early on. Cheddar, he overextends his patience. He pushes on forward. And now Brad is going to come and avenge his teammates. Now, this is the issue. Now, Brady's gone into the building. You maybe
Where is he?
I guess you're cautious. He's trying. There he goes.
I spotted him.
I see you. Revenge. There we go. But this again isn't ideal for either side because you're down players already. Okay, Erangel, you've had 2 kills, sure. But right now, this is what I'm looking at. The Drogons, I believe, already lost a player. AOK did the damage onto him. Skull's still alive, but he's got 2 Drogons players close by. Now, they need to be able to cover him. They need to be able to help him out a bit here, but they also don't want to risk too much by trying to save him. The Drogons have lost 2 players. This is an issue. I definitely saw 1 on the kill feed. I did not see 2. And now they didn't get many points in the first game. The Drogons were 0. This is not what they want to be seeing here. And I don't know, like, I understand you want to try and potentially get another kill here, but I might just try and find a way out. Because right now, AOK, they are trying to lock him in from every single side. They may not expect Mestri here at all. And this is not the start they would have wanted. Drogons started to really impress us. And this is a problem.
This is definitely going to be the case. Bot, Jeff, and Dan both down, so his Blade and Nero still remaining. Nero, clutch guard almost a few times going into the group stage. And also, that means the Drogons and AOK, because they dropped in this exact same compound, they shared loot. There's not going to be that much utility to use for Drogons to move away. And right behind them in this open landslide, this is not a good position to disengage. So I'm going to say, here, Drogons, they're locked in. The only way out of this one is to win the fight versus AOK.
Well, they are going to be able to take down Skull at least. They're going to go in for the fight and try and make it happen. They need to be careful, and Nero doesn't expect that. He's flushed between 2 of them, and the Drogons are dead. Okay, you got 4 kills for AOK, but they did lose Skull. It's something you can handle, but I always just see yourself as like a limping lamb going forward. Instead of 4 legs, you've got 3. And now you're up against a lot of other teams. You move on in. Okay, you can take some control. You can get the loot you want for sure. But now you have to kind of adjust your strategy on what you want to do from here on out. And that's where we see the real test of some of these teams.
Yeah. Sanhok is a map where it's really important to get that 4-man team push if possible. So the lack of 4-man team coming out for the side of AOK is going to be definitely a little bit of an underlying issue for the remaining part of Sanhok. So hopefully they can play their game correctly. And once again, if they do scout, they can easily avoid fights because now losing that 1 player is going to be causing quite a lot of trouble for them throughout the entire game. They're close to PAINAF. It's going to be the side of Gun. PAINAF overall, when you're close to this position, is really good to rotate over to the mainland on the east or to the southwestern island to the west. So overall, this is going to, once again, really good rotation. They can easily rotate wherever they want. So it's a good spot to be in early on. But oh, wait, a fight in ruins? With PMPL and YONKOUS. Okay, this is a position where fights very rarely happen, and especially it's super rare to see teams push inside of ruins late to go for a fight. But you know what? Now I see it. It's PMPL, so I'm actually not surprised.
We should never be surprised by PMPL wanting to take the fights here, but I don't like fighting from here because there is so many positions you need to look at, and Jairbot, he's in a solid position, doesn't even need to shoot. There we go, he just waits him out, goes straight in for the kill. They didn't spot him out completely. He's going to be challenged, and there's more players surrounding him. He needs some backup from his teammates as well. But Jairbot, he's doing it again, this madman, he's pulling it off. If he can take down Skydo, it's going to be huge. Skydo's actually backing away. They're going in for the fight, and the damage has been done. PMPL, Jairbot with a 1v3, and he's put them all on the floor, and he's going on the hunt for the last.
He's going to do 1v4 on Hansley? No way. That would be insane to kick off your action over here. YONKOUS going to reposition on the side, but Jairbot looking for it. PMPL on the back foot. This is insane. And Hansley does go down. Going to be snatched away. What the hell? Jairbot out of this goddamn world. Are you stuck?
Mate, the trigger discipline when they both ran past him, right? Because he could have potentially got like a bit of a collateral damage in there.
Yeah.
He waits for them to come back at him and still handles it. Like, I wouldn't even say PMPL played that badly. I do regret, I always say this, when you're pushing in there, this is not an easy spot to push from because there's so many angles to check, right? But that was impressive because PMPL is a good team. They can take fights. They can work really well. And he just dealt with him. Yeah, but this is like the 2nd time he's drove us to like question decisions on life and how bad we are compared to him.
Last time he scored atlmagician on, it was a Miramar actually on top of it. So Jairbot is definitely a player that's
he just super high up there.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the play where Jairbot just made a name for himself and started his reputation. That guy is mental. Also, it's something that I think is important to keep in mind. We did see. Oh no, I'm going to keep that one for myself. Fex shut down by Broly right away. Headshot coming out from Gun. They did rotate over the bridge early on, apparently, to get a better position with the circle, which I think is great coming out from Gun. And Pronto hoping to get Fex to go down, but Gun, they're on the move. You know they want to finish off this fight if they can. The Slime 4K Thief, they don't want to allow that to happen here.
Bit of nade damage did come out towards them, but they are going to... Oh, no, the second nade did pay off. Pronto is just going to have to fall back. Storm and Aimer are providing some cover fire from across the bridge, but the numbers are in the advantage of Gun and Storm. Oh, you've been a heavy hitter for the squad over and over again, but you get caught from the side. You get tagged up quite heavily. Not quite fragged up, but it will work out for now. And 4KT, this is, again, problematic. And then I'm going to say, again, what is it, Max? A nade. Of course. It's always grenades.
Always going to be a grenade. But back to my initial point then about the side of PAINAF. They actually came into this game as a 3-man team. So seemed like they had a little bit of an issue getting into the lobby. So hopefully next game they're going to be there as a 4-man team. Because PAINAF is a team that definitely has been playing strong purely based off of their 4-man team composition. So once again, just hoping they can make it back. But what was really weird, especially in that last fight in Ruins, is that we initially did not see YONKOUS defend it, because the moment you're the weakest around Ruins is on the outskirts in the water side. And they actually died the moment they entered Ruins itself, which is where they should have been at their safest. But back to the trigger discipline you mentioned here, Banks, they just got really confident, like, okay, no one is shooting at us. There's no one in there. And the moment they dropped their defensive position, they dropped their overall good shot calling, and were feeling really calm in that position, that is when they lost everything. So overall, always expect a team to be somewhere. Is not because you haven't heard anything that nobody is in there. And hopefully there's going to be a life lesson learned for the team of PAINAF. As now moving into the circle, is about to close off into phase 2. Triple. Sorry, not am I saying triple? I mean triple. They're a 3-man team, but it's going to be 4KT. Up on a mountaintop position, next to the river also. So this is going to be a great position in terms of scouting, which I said is going to be detrimental to the success of some of these teams. So hopefully they're just able to move on forward as we see phase 2 circle shifting very soon. But, oh, Loops, what are you doing here, my dude? Oh, okay.
He wants to pull off a bot of his own,
Where's his
but
team?
the difference is... Oh, no, this is going to be a problem. Sahil needs to avoid the shots. Loops straight in with a reload. Oh, they're going to pincer him.
Yeah.
Easy kill.
How did
that was questionable.
Yeah. I would call that extremely questionable. I don't know how he got there and why he didn't. His team was in Ruins. How did he die over there?
I'm guessing he was really hyped up, right, from what bot did. The adrenaline was still pumping, and he was just like, I can do it too. And then realized,
no. That is why Yerbot is the fragger, and I'm not. big L. Unfortunately, coming over to him. But the circle, we do see it then tend to shift. It is pretty good overall. He's got also the north western island in play and the south western island in play also. So that river is going to be a big issue. If it hard shifts north or hard shifts north or south, I can't even keep my coordinate positions properly, it is going to be causing the demise of about 50% of the teams remaining in this lobby. So you are looking at this and thinking teams that are close to the river will be able to make up for hard shift away from them, such as, for example, UAE, YONKOUS, also the side of Spaza Six, and even Pain Africa. Other than those teams, a lot of the teams are actually going to struggle. Actually, also KHK is in a pretty good spot. If they do have a boat, which I believe they do, they could easily rotate to the southern coastal line. But this circle is going to be a gamble. You need to choose now which riverbank you want to be on and commit to it. And if it shifts away, it's going to be up to the gods to know exactly if you're going to cross on over, which it is going to be a really hard one. So this circle is one of the hardest circles you can be given sometimes in Sanhok. So hopefully teams will act accordingly, cautiously, and do the good decision when time comes by.
Now, UAE, they're going to have their guard up a little bit here because they're going to expect maybe a fight back from the Yankers because, okay, they saw Loops run on forward and then they'll go, well, where's the rest of them? What's going on here? And, oh, no, Mercury. Okay, everyone is unsuspecting things right now because this is not the usual play we're seeing from some of these teams. Now Reverb will hide behind the rock. He's going to keep an idea of what's going on around. But UAE are just picking up a couple of kills from teams making mistakes around them.
I don't like this from KHK. I'm going to be very critical on this one. They had a 4-man team north of the coastal line, and they sent 2 players down south, which in the grand scheme of things would make a lot of sense if it was a very safe position, because they have 2 players on both sides of the riverbank. They can easily facilitate the rotation of the 2 other players if you have a hard circle away from 50% of your squad. Unfortunately, by splitting away like this, they went into a compound that they had no information on, which is why scouting is so important. If they would have knew a team was there, they would have never decided to engage that. But they did. That is one. Reverb is pinned down, cannot move away too easily from this position away from UAE. So things are not looking great. And now the rest of the team is taking another fight versus Scrim Farm Africa. So they are Sully picking himself one frag. That's great. But once again, this is too much. They're biting down way more than they can actually chew in this game.
Now, we expected this. We spoke about it in the pre-match that when it comes to a map like Sanhok, we expect fighting very early on. We know how aggressive some of these teams can be. But like this has become crazy. The Yearbot thing, that's in a league of its own. But these little mistakes teams are making, this is like where you have to question their decision-making and their mentality coming into games where the pressure really is at its highest. KHK, one of the teams that were able to be right at the top of it all. Now they need to show us when they're at a man disadvantage, they made a slight mistake, and this isn't what they want to see. Sully was still out there fighting, but where was the team around him? Where was anyone else to help him out?
Wait, two teams pushing in ruins in the same game? What? No, this is not normal. This is not okay. Oh, Lewis finds the kill, but fair enough. But yeah, okay, instant regret on this one. They made it in, but can they make it out?
I won't be challenging YONKOUS in ruins at any time soon. That's a nice easy kill for them to find. They try to jump through the window. He can't shoot at the same time. First aid kit's going to be in there, but Yearbot, he's not a bot at all. He is a god at this game. He's found himself up on 3 kills. His team have been in a good spot because of it. And they look to try and finish off A-OK very soon. But A-OK, they got their defenses up. They know what's going on. Lewis with a... Ew, I like the attempt at these nades here. He's just like bobbing, weaving, poking, checking on all the third position angles that he can look at. They don't have to move.
They don't really have to. This is good. They can maybe just be unsuspected neighbors for some time, wait for the circle to move away and maybe escape. But this is feeling like Temple Run is just trying to run away as much as possible. But at the end, Lewis going to get his nade of his own, maybe trying to chuck one properly inside that door would be great.
Oh no.
But no one's there, unfortunately, on the receiving end. Manfila, Samuka, 2 good, perfect angles. Whichever team goes in between will get in a tricky spot. But overall, the circle also, it is centered up on ruins. So I understand the value of teams going for ruins, but also I'm giving them a lot of a hard time for scouting and not knowing teams are in there. There are not many windows in ruins, so it's really hard to know if a team is there or not. So that it came down to a gamble, very similar to where the circle is currently, which I do get, but it is always a risk to go. So that's why I would never push myself inside of ruins, and I think teams should avoid it. But at the end, YONKOUS, they still in their homeland, 3v2. They got the man advantage, but no one is pushing because it's, once again, every corner, they might just be a player just not moving for the past 10 minutes. So you just never know what's just there.
And one thing, right, when it comes to ruins, do you know why I never enter it, even in public games? Because I know there's always one guy, they'll just sit there no matter what. Even if the blue's coming in,
exactly.
He'll be sat there like, ha, 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 I'm going to get 1 kill. And it's like, why are you still here? Why is this my life? Right now, these teams are doing it in a pro game. I didn't think I would see it to this level. I didn't think I'd see what Yearbot did. And hopefully, AOK might be able to survive, but the YONKOUS do want to try and take a fight against them. There's been a lot of nades used and not a lot of success found. We've gone opposite here for the region. Lewis, you nearly overextended there as well, up the stairs. Little do you know, man, Phyllis is right around the corner. He thinks he's got... Oh,
yes.
Out. Oh!
Yes!
Oh my god! Now they jump, now they attack. They've got the numbers and they eliminate them. They are the Ruins champions by far. They've only lost 1 player from this, and they wouldn't even lost Loops if he didn't leave Ruins. You should just stay with a teammate.
That was a surprising one. They did have some really good angles, I do believe, for the start of AOK initially, but the moment that you stop moving, you're making yourself prone to taking nade damage, and Lewis played that nade perfectly well, by the way. Juicy spaghetti. I don't even know if spaghetti can be juicy, but we'll overlook that entirely. And so, oh my god, this circle, it got ruined. It still got the river, so all the teams up north, Scrim Farm, KHK, Existence, Eraser Korean, also PAINAF Africa, got a cross on over, which is not going to be easy, but is 1 compound, which is free, dead center, down south of the river, on the east of the bridge. Whichever team gets there, I think will be taking a minimum top 3 position. Gun could get there first. I don't think YONKOUS can, because if they try and move up north, Gun could potentially contest it. So this is a golden opportunity for every team in this lobby. Whichever team takes it first might be taking himself a top 3, or even a win if they play that position correctly.
Well, true. He's trying to play it smart, taking the extra peeks. Shade's able to provide a nice bit of fire onto 4KT. We already saw they lost one player early on. Now they're with a 3 left alive to try and take these fights and find their way in. But SGE, they can be the gatekeepers for now. Pronto, very low on health. They need to be so cautious. He's just taking so many shots through the smoke. With 4KT, they'll survive for now. They'll hold their ground. They'll still be able to take fights against other teams. So Shade's further away from the rest of them. Well, they go up against Blackjack eSports elsewhere, also taking some shots onto Pain. So this is where the fights will really start to take light. And Pain are going to be losing players. That's a double knockdown coming on through. Trying to get across this bridge is going to be so difficult.
Yeah, I would even say bridge is just, you're asking for your demise if you're crossing over the bridge itself. Just swim underneath, then separate when you land, and you should be able to get yourself some good lines of sight. That should be the best way to cross over that northern river. The circle has been now close enough, 50% done. Most of the northern island should be currently out of the play zone. As a, oh my god, this is so sad for Slime 4KT in the blue zone, ticking down. They have to make it through the open fields. Not much they can do. And with no, oh my god, NerfMe's on the other side with a QBZ. Okay. This is, no, sorry, not QBZ, QBU, should I say. That's the proper one. As I'm just a little bit skeptical as to if they can actually make it through. Storm, here you go, pushing on forward, taking some severe damage, but still going to be standing strong. Storm. Going to run again, but no, he's in the line of sight. That was an easy pickup for Slime.
Yeah, Slim having a nice chance there. No problem at all for him to get that kill. Easy pickup, and the rest of 4KT are struggling. I believe they could be down and out of it very soon. Only one player who's not currently knocked down. And that is Pronto, who's being surrounded by SG. And Plaza, he's going for the Hail Mary nade. Look how high he tried to put that. Oh, it did. What? Nerf me. What is this? Again. It doesn't matter what weapon you give him. He just needs to be nerfed. He lives up to the name. Give him less bullets or something.
We're talking about that. We're talking about that. Can we talk about that circle for a quick second? It went straight. We got bridge finish. Okay, you pressed the button again, Banks. I get it. You didn't tell anyone. You didn't. I thought we could casters. I thought you would tell me.
I wanted to prove that you were wrong, so I just said it should go on the bridge. There you go. That's my logic. I'm like, yeah, Max is wrong. I wanted the bridge. I like the bridge. I'm a bridge camper.
Oh no. Pain.
Yeah, but still
a kill this one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Getting him in. Nicely done. Easy finish off onto UAE. So Pain will be able to pick up some kills, but can he get back to El Chapo to revive him before someone else takes him down? Because you've also got to find your way inside the circle. Nerf Me still up there, and he does finish off El Chapo. That's not ideal. So that means Pain only have one player left alive. King's going to have to be running around. Lewis on the floor, and Six God, he's looking out towards him. He's going to be taking blue damage for now. Doesn't want to stick around there for too long, ideally.
Yeah, man. Ruins is going to be there outdoing, unfortunately, for them. They're trying their best to move away from that spot, but it's such a hard thing to do. Moving into Ruins is hard. Moving out of Ruins is even harder when teams are localized all around it. Vortex going to be now pushing his way over. They're actually going to be buggies at this stage, man. This is so insane. Actually, atlmagicians died. That's great. The Blue Zone just actually saved the entirety of YONKOUS. But on the side is going to be Temper trying to take them down.
Yeah, but just about stayed alive in that. Low on health. Renegod's found some cover. He's put the smoke down as well. He's left the buggy behind, but he needs to be careful because both Temper and Gun were close by. Bandage is going to be applied. They're going to heal themselves up as much as possible. But will it be enough? There's still only 2 players left in it. 15 alive in total, 6 alive for the game. We're already 20 minutes in, and this truly is some madness. If you're one of the teams with less players right now, do you just put someone in the water under the bridge, right under the zone?
I would.
Sit there?
Yeah.
Why not? You know, just at this point you go, okay, I'm heavily outnumbered. We may have a chance doing this.
I think that would be actually a really good long-term strategy, but here you go. Gun going to be pushing away forward onto Temper. First and second position of the group stage up against each other. As Shady goes down, Flacco's left alone.
Big shots coming on through. Nerf Me still popping off, and of course it's a headshot. Gun are looking to get a big win here. Last time the circle benefited them for the opening game on Erangel, and they didn't get to take the fights. This time they're all up in the grills of their opponents. 7 kills already so far, and they're looking to find some more. Nerf Me has been ever consistent. He's always pulling up the numbers. He's always putting down the players, and he's non-stop in this one as well.
Whoa.
It goes down. More damage to be done. They're going to go straight in for the finish-offs, but now they need to get inside the zone. They can't be taking too much damage at this stage, and they're all going to go for a little swim. How long will they be able to survive in the water, though? That's going to be a test on its own. With 3 teams up in it, 4 players alive of the 7 remaining are all for gun, but their position is less than ideal. You've got Exist with 2 players on the bridge, expecting teams to come on forward, but everyone is just swimming below them.
So, there you go. The angle's held by Reckless. So this is going to be down to a heal off between Scrim Farm and the side of Gun. Existence, they're on top of the on top of the bridge, so they can heal. If you're in the water, you cannot heal, and you really got to keep that in mind. But that's why Gun are all going onto the side. They're trying to pop all the last healing they got before going back into the water, and it's going to be a battle of time to see who dies first. Will it be Scrim Farm Africa's player that's going to be dying first, or the entirety of Gun? Existence, seeing how things are so far, unless I see the biggest throw in history with Existence dropping down to get some kills, this is Existence taking the win 100% of the time. Now, be trying to go over there, denied. Hey, that was the one play that could secure themselves a win, but Slim also dies to the blue. So now, even more than ever, it is Existence win 100%.
I just love this in the water. They're like, hey guys, I can see you. It'd be really good if you could just nade the water or something, wouldn't it? As a player in the water, you just throw it forward.
Thanks. I want to say something. Last time in PMWL, what you could do is if you actually move towards a wall in the water, you got a small window of time where you can punch someone. If they are able to use that feature, we saw a guy do a 1v3 in the water, killing people with punches because he knew that mechanic and other players did not. So he didn't win it. He lost it right afterwards, but he got himself 2 kills and almost a 3rd. So here you're looking at this. If they move actually towards the wall, they can maybe just get high enough and punch it. They want to get, it's a very small window. It's a mechanic that not many people are familiar with. So I'm intrigued to see if someone might use it.
This is insane. Oh, Zodiac and Reckless just chilling, we're having a dance. You know, why not? Show off. Why are you going to go get an easy win?
Is damage to Casita? No. Oh, don't use that one. Come on, that's the worst emote in the game. Come on. I'm sad. Existence, can you just jump through in the water again? you don't deserve to win with that emote. Come on. Oh, you don't know damage to Casita?
No.
No? Yeah, I'm happy you don't. It sucks. It's like the worst meme ever. It's like really bad. You're saving yourself some time. Don't worry about it. Oh man, this is not even the last circle though.
No, we're going to be chilling for quite a while, I think, mate. We're going to be just waiting this out. Okay, this is the next prediction. Who wins out of Gun and the other team down below?
I need to see the health bar to make sure who's got the most HP. So Scrimfarm actually has got quite a bit of good HP. Actually, you know what? What they could do is actually send one player down and shoot with a jumper shot. That would be a cool way to go out. They got 2 players. And I'm going to say they can do it potentially. I think yeah, exactly. And because when you knock someone in the water, that's an instant kill, right? So I think overall that would be a good way to go out. Looking at the HP. Okay, so Ellie's got the most HP in this one. So if Ellie's actually dead center of the circle, it should be Scrimfarm Africa taking 2nd position. But sometimes tick damage can be a little bit tricky at this stage of the game. It can proc a little bit quicker on you or not. So here you go. Ellie, I think she'll be able to win this 1v2. Come on, do it, guys.
Take some shots. Give us the style points. Give us some interesting ending. Now, Ellie looks close enough to maybe center. Who's going to have to steal direction? Come. This is going to... Ellie, you may have forced yourself into a bad position here. Plaza's health isn't that far away. Oh, they're blocking him. Oh, they're doing it. Ellie, you're being bullied out. Ellie, no, you could be losing your 2nd place. Not like this. No.
He's winning.
He died.
He wins.
Yep, he's done it.
Ellie.
2nd. Oh my God. Well, that's what happens when the circle is controlled by an idiot. And I don't mean me, because I don't actually have control. I promise you guys in chat. But that was not the ending I was expecting for. Exist's got a win with 3 kills. I guess great in their eyes. If you're Gun, at least you got a good amount of kills. You just didn't get across the bridge in enough time with that one. Actually, you know, Gun end up with the most points because of that. They get 19 from this game. Existence only get 18. That's hilarious.
Existence has been really passive actually on the Northern Edge. There was not too many teams over there, and they were not killing out each other. They got 3 kills in those final moments. One that they got actually on Nerf Me, off gun. But at the end, that was like, can you really analyze that ending? I mean, not really. It's just a heal off. So exactly, can't really say too much. Team, you got bridge. Haha,
really
GG, you win.
Wasn't it more just like a die-off?
It's more of a tank. Yeah, die-off. You know what? Actually, that's the new term we're going to go for. It's not a heal-off, it's a die-off. I like that one a lot more. But overall, we had some intriguing games happening today so far. This second game has been the most interesting of the two, I would say, by far. And Undisputed African Esport, they kicked off the day was 31, and now they got themselves 47. That's an extra 16 points. Quick math, by the way, on top of it. Ooh. So for me, they hit the average that they needed today. Like, they could literally stop playing today, and they would still be in a perfectly good position at the end.
What did we say? We said maybe if they had 15 to 20 points, they'd be looking at a really solid day. They just added 16 in game 2. Now they're sitting pretty. If they can just play very just standard for the next 2 games and be looking comfortable in the opening day of playoff stages here. For the Drogons, I'm going to be honest. I know it's only game 2, but I'm worried because that's 2 games. You got the 1 point on Erangel. You got finished off very early on before. It's not ideal. It's not ideal at all.
I love it. I'm just seeing the chat on YouTube at the same time, like, oh, heal off. No heal off. It's die off, guys. Okay, we've got to get the term right now. We've got to change the entire meta. But that was 1.5 games for sure. And looking at it, Scrim Farm, they super happy with 3rd position. They are in a really good position. They got to keep it up. And Influence Rage Africa, unfortunately, after that last game they got early up here, not hitting too many points. They died really early to YONKOUS, making that weird push inside of Ruins. This is actually weird. We have a bridge finish, and we had 2 teams pushing into Ruins late game. Actually, a 3rd one, there was Temper right behind. So this was a lot of things that normally never happens. But, you know, it is the finals of PMCO, and this is why I love casting PUBG Mobile so much. You just never know what's around the corner. One weird circle, and the entire meta we can expect is thrown out of the window entirely. So at the end, I don't know what to add. I don't know. With a game like that, just GG for the win existence and keep it up. Cool stuff, guys. Yes, awesome.
Sometimes, right, they just have to deal with the hand they're dealt. So I guess they just got to chill with it for now. So while we've got this time, you know what it is. We got to remind everyone, our fantastic sponsor for the entire series of the PMCO here for the African region is Oppo Reno 5. With rich imagination to interpret and express the joys of love, friendship, and family around us, Oppo Reno series is always there to help you create and record beautiful moments and emotional and heartfelt connection with your lives. And that's very important right now. I'll tell you guys one thing of why that phone could be very useful for you. I have now been a year away from seeing my son because of COVID. We just literally cannot. The UK is falling apart. So FaceTime and using a good camera for that is definitely an important thing. So go and use your Reno 5 phones for that, as well as just some PUBG action. But what we should do, we should head to a break because really we can't discuss too much more about game 2. I'd love to give you some amazing insight, but sometimes the circles just give us a crazy ending. We get a laugh, we get a joke around, and we'll be back for Miramar. So we'll see you in a few. After the craziest Sanhok game we have seen so far for the African region of PUBG Mobile Club Open 2021, we're moving on to Miramar. And I can't promise you nothing crazy is going to happen because we don't actually have the control of it. But you know, Max, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for the viewers because you watch something like that and you go, what does that really tell us? When it comes to the next Sanhok, okay, we can look at some drop spots. We can look at what these other teams, like, so what me and Max do, right? When we finish doing this, well, tomorrow morning or something, we'll look before the games, we'll go back over the VOD and we'll look at things and say, okay, this is what the team's doing, what information we can take going forward. Mamba also, because we've got to keep shouting him out, the manager of 4KT, always providing us extra info of anything he's noticing and seeing. And in a game like that, when we come on to tomorrow's Sanhok, I have nothing. I have a bit of fun about ruins, that if they go there again, maybe that's something we can play with. But other than that, I can't really tell how these teams are going to play towards the end game and how they fully rotate, because those rotations were not something we normally see. I've never seen a circle like that, never.
I've also never had a bridge finish, like actually on top of the bridge, because usually how PUBG Mobile circles work is they will actually find a position that's out of water. So normally the top of a bridge itself would not be okay, but it actually ended towards that pillar. And that pillar is actually counted as mainland. And so he said, oh, got the pillar there, the circle's going to end right on top of it. And that's why it actually ended right on top of the water. So you got some very unusual circles like that that can happen. The RNG is very unfavorable for the players. But you know what? At the end of the day, they were given a position, existence. And a team that we said many times, they need to be able to find those wins. They did it there. I mean, I think it's more the win found them than they found the win in a way. But at the end, they still get themselves the points that they needed because their team that barely qualified coming into the finals. So hopefully they can start and get some many good points just like that last game throughout the entirety of these finals. But now going into our third matchup of the day is Miramar once again. And when it comes down to it, we've had our fair share also, I would say, Banks, of wild, interesting Miramar circles at the end of the day. We had some hilltop finishes towards crater fields. We had some coastline finishes next to the side of Impala up northeast of Impala, actually, which were really interesting, which is where actually Jebop took that 1v4 versus the side of Magicians. And now coming into this, it's actually a pretty northwestern kind of playing path coming on through. A lot of teams tend to like dropping in Los Leones, but because so much research has potentially been spent for the past 3 to 4 days trying to see where teams are going to drop, and because so many teams, at least during the group stage, used to drop in Los Leones, I would not be surprised to see Los Leones as a completely deserted town, as teams just trying to avoid the fight in Miramar as much as possible here.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the points, right? Well, I'm a crazy person. I love a bit of city fighting in there, but they are awkward, right? There are too many options where circle goes away from you. You might have to run out of the compound that almost seemed perfect. You're kind of getting in the building and you just shot at the moment you go into the open area. So it's a big risk when it comes to it. Realistically, we're going to have to wait and see how these guys are going to be doing. I'm going to have a close eye and see what 4KT are going to be able to do though, mate, because we praised them so highly throughout group stages. And these opening 2 games, okay, it's a slow start for them. Wow, okay, that's what is going on? Oh, I'm not going to say it. I do want it, but I'm not going to say it. So I'm just looking. You guys know what I'm thinking. Let's see if it happens.
Yeah, we'll know what we're thinking over here. We know exactly what we want, but we'll see if it's going to be given to us. The circle pop, there was literally no teams in there. That's how weird its position was coming out from them. We do have then the circle in El Pozo. You got 2 teams currently in that position. Is going to be Scrim Farm Africa and also Spaza Six. So a little bit of a skirmish could be happening, but El Pozo is pretty good when it comes down to cast spawn. So if you want to avoid that fight all around, I think it is still possible for those 2 teams to remain as a 4-man squad. Note another team is going to be atlmagicians. They're taking a fight for themselves versus DROGONS. And DROGONS today, they've been taking early fight after early fight after early fight. And it truly has been causing them, I would say, some rather big issues. They've been falling behind. They're currently in 16th position. That is dead last with only 1 kill. That is all they got. So DROGONS seem like you might have to spend a little bit more research to avoid these hot drops because it's been happening a little bit too much today.
Yeah, there's one thing, right? DROGONS got 0 points in the Erangel game, 1 point on the game of Sanhok, and they fought from the very beginning. Sure, great. It's not been ideal. But I do wonder, and I come back to this, and okay, I can't prove it because I've not spoken to these guys, but I got to look at if they've done the VOD review, because they should have an idea that other teams might have been contesting their location. Instead, they've stuck to their guns, and well, it's not worked out for them. If they have another game, if they go down to the Magicians here, that's 3 games with hardly any points. If they maybe get 1 kill, that's going to be insane. That's going to be something I'm completely did not expect, because I actually come to love what we started to see from the DROGONS. They had moments of glory, and today, playoff stage, maybe not so much. Maybe against the heavy hitters, they can't stand up. And they've had their eyes on, right? Magicians have been looking at Drogons here from start to finish. They know what's going on. I don't know how aware Drogons are of how many Magicians players are looking at them right now.
Magicians are actually very split away from each other. They got perfect off angles, which means that if Dragons move away from this spot specifically, they're going to be potentially in a lot of trouble. But Jeff spotted away by Vortex. He's got M16 SKS loadout, so which is decent at this kind of range. But SKS, I'm not a big fan, but if you use it properly, get some good body shots, it is a weapon that will find knocks extremely, extremely quickly. Is that going to be for the one-tap M16? And Vortex finds Nero. The clutch god is out of the equation already. Now it's down to a 4v3.
And it's out in the open again. Maybe they can get some smokes down to cover him. But Vortex, keen eye, already looking at it. And look at the Magicians. They've kind of gotten pinched in one building. Bot Jeff has made it towards the other side. Oh. Vortex now knows exactly what's going on. Nade is surely going to come. Oh, no. Is he going to do it? He's got a nade? Is he? Maybe not. He spotted him.
That would be a pretty easy grenade. I think he...
Yeah, I thought that would have been the best one ever.
I think he thought that they were maybe in a container, which there is a possibility to go in one of those containers, I believe. So I think he's just, okay, they're inside the container. He can't nade from that angle. It's still going to be rather hard. So the res does come through on Nero. So that's amazing. Bot Jeff now also knows where Vortex is. So he's just going to hold the angle, make sure that Vortex can't peek to allow his team to maybe roam a little bit more free in those surrounding areas. But look right up north on the mini map top right. Right up north of that location, got one of the players of ATL Magicians slowly moving up there, trying to get the perfect off angle. And they are surrounded by players. West, the team, there's a player. East of the player. South and north, there's also a player on those two respective positions. Drogons, the only way out is to find frags. It's going to be a way out through blood. So I'm intrigued to see how they're going to try and play this one, because Drogons, by seeing how this is going, I would not move if I were them, because every angle is a dead angle where you might be losing your life. And the circle is moving away. Currently, the blue zone is centering up towards phase one, and this position is indeed in the blue. So the moment they're in the blue ticking down, it's going to be a lot of resources wasted. So you need a way out for this fight, but that is not an easy thing to do when, once again, they're pinned down so heavily by ATL Magicians. They are playing so good on keeping Drogons out of this fight.
They're not overextending on this at all. That's what I love here from the Magicians. You got the knock. Okay, Vortex may have been able to get an aid and do some extra, but he wasn't going to keep himself out in the open enough where he might be knocked down, especially considering the Magicians are split up a bit here. Bot Jeff is going to have to be keen on what he hears and what he's looking at. And they may not expect him, considering where they've seen the rest of the players. Ash needs to check every single corner of what's going on.
Oh.
And he may not do it. He may just end up with his back being... He's bypassed him. So now, actually, he could find himself being sneak attacked here. Oh, there's the nade. Here we go.
Good nade. Good nade. Oh,
he got away.
Oh,
sneaky.
That's an unfortunate one.
Kelvin was a bit hungry to try and get that kill done. Nice attempt. Good effort. The right idea. But like you said, should have held on to it a little bit longer.
Oh, wait. What's happening there? Bren God, what's happening? Tell us. Just car explosions on Miramar. Those aren't normal. YONKOUS is also going to get himself involved in a little bit of a fight. But you said it. Ash moves straight past one of the players of Drogons. So those things are going to be a little bit tricky. Lewis, unfortunately, got confirmed by Flame. Stan is trying to move away, man. They're trying to just force their way through. They make it to the building where Kelvin is in. He's got to try and jump away from this one, potentially through the window. Otherwise, he's in a straight-up 1v3.
How's he going to play this one? This is going to be tough. Now the zone's come on into him. It looks like the Drogons want to overwhelm him with the numbers. He's going to be in an uncomfortable position, to say the least. They're on the hunt for him, but he may have just hopped out the window. Or he's gone all the way up. Okay, there we go.
Nice there.
From the other view. Oh, no. Nero, check the corners. Oh, no. Not like this.
No.
Surely not. No. Kelvin's still up. Kelvin's out there fighting. He doesn't get killed off, and then they'll finish him off. But now Blade, on very low health, has to stand the test. Legacy's running forward. Ash is running forward as well. They smell blood, and they are going on the hunt. The Drogons already get a molly thrown out towards them. Nero burns alive. Blade is next to drop on the floor. And again, the Drogons, they are suffering.
The mollies, the grenades, everything is a cocktail Molotov, and it's amazing to see. But there's still one player from ATL Magicians. There's going to be, one player of ATL Magicians, sorry, still up as a three-man team. One player of Dragons on the side, which is still waiting to give himself maybe a pat on the back and move forward. It's going to be Bot Jeff. Going for VSS, finds a shot, headshot, connects onto Legacy. Can he find the flush? Oh my god, the SKS headshot for headshot. That is looking perfect. And Vortex now flushes that kill instantly. Going to go for the res on Legacy. It's Blue Zone phase 1. They can afford to tank it up. But now you need to get into a car and start moving. And the issue with this, sure, you find the kills. You have no information of what teams are holding onto the west of the circle. They're going to go in completely blindfolded. And that's where trouble can ensue in a game of Miramar.
I'm really surprised, by the way, that Ash was still able to survive at this point. Because he was the one that snuck through on that building. He was sat in a position where you thought he was just going to get jumped at anytime soon. And again, the Drogons, I don't know, something's not right for these guys. We didn't get the finish. There you go. I don't have control. We're getting a normal potential ending. If Los Leones is counted as a normal ending, maybe win there, you know, still on the cards. The Magician's going to have a long way route for them to go and travel on through, but it will be a comfortable one. They're the last team going on forward. So probably by the time they get into the circle, it'll almost be going on to phase 3. So they've got quite a lot of time ahead of them to travel forward. Oh, YONKOUS lost 2 players in. I know we saw Brenogod go down.
Yeah.
But
Lewis got confirmed also. Yeah,
wow.
Things are not off to a good start for YONKOUS. They're trying their best to keep on moving forward. And look for a good spot. They're entering so far the northeastern side. They were very close to KHK eSports, and KHK is going to be right in front of them. They're actually going, wait, they're going, oh, okay. Good. Hey, you know what? That was a good flip, Reverb. Props to you. They're going to go straight center circle. Is from the likes of it. They got so many good compounds currently available for them. And Existence, they're just going to be cruising on by, aiming them for the high ground position. But where's Reverb going? He's going in the fields. He's going towards Existence. Reverb, what are you doing? I'm skeptical as to what he's doing right now. He's chasing it. Oh, U-turn. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was very skeptical of what Reverb was doing. He is good at the game, don't get me wrong, but 1v4 good? I mean, he can do 1v4s, I'm sure, but I wouldn't take those odds. The odds are not in his favor whatsoever.
Now, we know Gun love to fight. They could be going up for a big test here because it's Temper that's just on in front of them. Slim already. Making the chances for Temper slimmer than usual by trying to take out the buggy. Making sure he pops the tires. He wants them to be in a tough spot. They'll just get in their vehicles for now and back away from this. They're not ready to take the fight. That's a little bit unlikely for Gun. I thought in them kind of situations they'd all like to challenge it, but they probably realize there's a very strong compound that Temper are holding. And Gunner now would have heard these cars move away. He'll understand that there's no fight coming anytime soon towards them.
It's really interesting because since last game, it's always been Gun going up against Temper, and last game is actually Gun that killed Temper, so maybe a little bit of a vendetta for the other squad. See if they can make that game happen all around. But Los Leones is still heavily in the circle. About 50% of that circle is occupied by a big portion of Los Leones. So I'm just hoping to not see too many teams fully commit to Los Leones right now, because getting Los Leones is easy. Moving away from it with teams on the outskirts is where things get a little bit dicey. And talking about Los Leones, going to be moving over there. Slime 4KT already in that position on the northeastern edge. They're going to be spotting out teams from this position. But that's the main issue. Pain Africa, if they do not move from this position and the circle goes up north, 4KT, they've got to move straight through Pain. So that's why I think it is a high risk, high reward kind of position that seems like 4KT are going to try and play for. As Storm is just going to be bullying that car. It's done nothing wrong, but staying there. Get the explosion. There you go. That's going to be done. No knocks come from him from that, unfortunately, so he's going to be a little disappointed. But Pain don't have to take the fight. They're just holding on to the high ground position, and they're just going to try and take down all the teams that are roaming in the surrounding areas.
I'm having a bit of deja vu. I know it's not the same spot, but just being on top of a hill, you know, trying to stand onto a fight. El Chapo starts to move forward. Ooh,
oh, there you go. There you go.
Is maybe where we end up going. So these teams are going to continue. And Magicians, they're just on the outside. I said they might get here just when it pops. You've got even further to go, boys, because you've got to go all the way towards the northeastern side. For the rest of the teams down in the south, there's a hot spot for contention. The big problem for a lot of these teams, actually, very minimal space for them to fight between. They're all going to see each other quite easily.
Overall, yeah, this is what I was looking out for. Slowly going to be moving away from the eastern edge. Well, okay, this is actually really smart from 4KT. They actually extract himself away down south of Los Leones to avoid the gatekeeping of Pain, wrap around over to the eastern edge. So I think that's the best course of action that Slime 4KT have actually done. This is the best rotation potential for them. So for that, heads up, that was great. Gun already making their way into the circle. But there is this kind of position is a lot of fields. 50% of the circle is fields onto the east mainly. So there's going to be a lot of shots from a distance that are going to be happening. A few knocks maybe through compound fights. But Gun going straight through the fields right away. Not having too much information. They are going to get sprayed down. But those are still moving targets, so not super easy to hit as Pain trying to deal the hurt.
A little bit of chip damage though. Not too bad for Pain to take some shots. I call those ones the warning shots. Like, stay away from us. Don't try and come here. We'll try and get you out the car if we can, but ideally we just want to hold our ground. Holding your ground against Gun though is still respectable if they did want to try it. I like this from Plaza. He's having a look forward, wants to see if anyone is up in the compound close to them. Because this is where it's a risk versus reward. When you're this far behind and you know you're one of the later teams coming on in, you're really unsure of where is safe, where you can go, what you can play for.
You just never know what's going to be the safe spot coming into the circle. The circle could go anywhere, could go into field. It could be for La Bandita finish. Which La Bandita finish, if it comes down to it, I'm going to start explaining a little bit how that should really ensue, because it is a really interesting spot that I think a lot of teams struggle with. So we'll see if that's going to be coming into the next phase, coming into phase 4, because it does require some really good macro to be able to deal with the circle finish on top of La Bandita. But it seems like a team that's going to have this fight taken up very early on. It's going to struggle. It's going to be A-OK, Art of Killing versus Eraser Crew. Eraser Crew still up as a 4-man. 4-3 currently for them in their favor. Okay, got to push on forward. And because it's a field, they can't disengage, because the moment they decide to disengage, boom, Eraser Crew jump out of the compound and spray you in the back. So this is a fight AOK have to take for themselves.
It's not going to be an easy fight at that. The Razor up with all their players now. Straight away going for the elimination, getting the extra kill point just in case. 2 up from for now. And they're I love the positions they're in. AOK are trying to fight back here. But Impulse, he's looking to work his way around. They are going to be able to hear him, but Impulse has the higher health. Brad's there as well. More shots being fired. Can't quite take him down, but just from the side, they're able to get it done. And a Razor, 4 kills. Only one of their players being knocked. They'll be comfortably able to bring him back, and they'll be able to march their way on forward. But they do need to be quick. Got to add to that, because the blue is coming on in. 4KT this
heavily
time
away. Oh, yeah, 4KT, sorry, go for it.
All the way over. That's all right. Just saying 4KT, they're in a better spot, right? We haven't seen them in the greatest positions throughout the opening 2 games. So at this point in the game where they've had some hard shifts, they're still sitting pretty. It's not the end of the world.
That's purely based off the fact of them rotating so well away from Los Lunes. So big heads up to the guys there doing some great stuff. Existence, not really having to move. They got a strong compound. They might have a few teams pushing away from La Bandita in their spot, but Eraser Crew, they are in a compound that's gatekeeping so many teams on the southeastern edge. They are aiming to get all the frags in the world, currently up to 5 kills, and they have more to come their way, hopefully very, very soon. In the name of Pain, it's going to drop right up north of their location. Got to be very cautious, but now especially up to the western side, Undisputed African Esports going to slowly wrap around down south to avoid the teams around La Bandita. But La Bandita, talking about it, some teams are still fighting in there. Infinite Rage Africa is going to be there as Hussein gets naded down instantly. Hades will be left stranded solo inside this compound.
That is not a position I would ever like to be in. Gun, all there. You could call them the bully squad, because what they're doing is taking shots at anyone that might be moving. They're looking to try and gain a hell of a lot of kills as much as possible from here. And Legacy, well, he's just trying to avoid his head top being shot off. And they're just on the hunt from left to right. Nerf me again. We continue to point him out as an individually star player for this team. 80s. Oh, nicely done. Can he get the confirm? Straight up in for it as well. This could be an error for him. They were taking fights on multiple sides. And now Slim, he needs to see if he can find an angle on this one. Hussein able to get himself back up. It's a good position for him to fight from now. Just heals himself up. Nade comes out, takes some more of that away. Now it's decision time. You've got one little shack to fight from, a couple of cars and a smoke in front of you. You've got 3 members of Gun up forward. I wonder if they call, you know, like, you see where the 3 players of Gun are right now? For that teammate who went down, Plaza, I'm wondering if he actually communicated that, because it seemed like they were still taking fights elsewhere before the rest of the charge came in. Wasn't normally a Gun move to make. I'd expect them to play a bit more as a team.
I was expecting them to not even take this fight, because they're going to be having the side of INF engulfed in the blue a lot quicker. As long as you make sure that car is not in working condition, there's no big escape potential for INF here. So I would be like, just hold on to the ridge line and also start thinking of making your way into the circle. If you do not get those 2 kills, it is not a problem. It is not an issue. The kills are not the most important part. You making it into the next phase is where the focus should be. Scrim Farm, they're focused on KHK currently. So Mercury takes himself quite a lot of damage. Will be able to, though, overtake that hurdle and make himself back to potentially 75% health. But KHK, they really impressed us at the start of the group stage, then fell off. I want to see if they can prove themselves once again coming into the finals and get some big games, because so far, KHK in 15th position after, say, Game 2 on Sanhok, they have not been shining in my eyes, at least.
No, I completely agree with that. And it's all about some of these teams that we saw individual brilliance from being able to be doing this against some of the better teams, right? Like I've got to keep mentioning here, this is for a spot for the PMPL. 1 spot out of these 16 teams, 16 of the best teams from the African region are fighting for this. Yumi able to confirm onto Mercury. He was unable to escape that one. And now LK sat in the back lines, potentially about to be overwhelmed, as the other 2 players are going to find their way pushing on forward. Yumi, she's come up as well to join into the fun. LK able to get one, but he's being hunted down. They're swarming him. They're all around him. And that will be all she wrote. The kills come in. And SF sitting in a spot now where only lost 1 player, 4 kills. Not so bad. Now it's about working your way in.
I don't know if you saw that for a split second, but atlmagicians actually got the first knockdown. They got the perfect off angle, just that little one shot just came on through and it instantly connected. That was from Legacy from atlmagicians that made that possible for them, but the skill just got snatched away, so the kill is not going to get confirmed for ATL. There's over to Temper, they're pushing inside of it, down south. They got to cross on over the road. They're already on top of it. But right behind them is going to be the side of Racer Crew. They now finally had to move away from their compound. They're going downhill in the open fields. This is tricky, but there are not many compounds. There are only hay bales, a few shacks, and also a few little rocks and a position to hide behind. Temper playing on the road, I think, is great. As Flacco finds the angle, instantly 1 frag. Up to 9 kills already. This is the best game of Temper so far, and we didn't even see them too much in the kill feed.
Yeah, they've been like slow and steady. They've only got 2 players alive.
Yeah.
But that's still a good amount of work that can be done. They're checking all their angles and corners as well. They're not just focusing on one position. So they're hyped up and ready for this one. But like you said, a lot of open space right now. These teams are going to struggle to find themselves a position to sit around. The hay bales, the haystacks, all in front of them. And they call this almost mission impossible, right? Because your goal here is to heal up, run on forward. Sadly, Ghost went out. Playzone got him. Oh no, you're going to try and steal his meds and hope for some success. But yeah, it's mission impossible because you've got to run forward, sneak your way forward as much as possible without being seen and being shot at. Try and find the next spot to hide behind and then make a run again for the next one. But now, Rise is just sitting there tanking it, trying to work his way in because he knows that Temple will be looking for him real soon, and they do keep checking him. Real smart play from Flacco and Gunner. They're looking over, taking shots, then checking behind him as well. They're not leaving anything to chance considering the position they are in. 10 kills now, and they'll be looking for more with 2 players just alive. That on its own is impressive. And look, they're just taking it to exist. Every time they pop up, more shots come out towards them.
Hopefully they're going to be running out of bullets, but at the end, that's what you should be doing. And Rise starts to jump out last second, but he's indeed going to go out. 10 kills going away then of Temper so far, as Racer Crew are eliminated in 7th. 6 teams still remain, and I gotta say, Slime 4KT, what a great rotation potential. Dead center, the circle's right on top of their position, so they don't have to move whatsoever. They are looking set for this entire game, and there you go, you said it, they keep endlessly shooting their way. 1 bullet is gonna connect eventually, and Gunner is indeed able to find himself clutch. The frags are not going to get secured, but they're going to tick down in the blue zone. My question is, do they have cars? Without cars, this existence out. They got to get eliminated in this game.
Yeah.
They do not have a way to just rotate easily, because by foot, doing that is a death run.
Well, the death run is going to be attempted now from Temper because they still have to find their way in as well. They've moved to a bit more cover. More shots coming out to them now. They didn't expect the side swipe. They have been careful. They have been checking a lot. But Gunner now, he's cautious. He's concerned. Oh, they do have vehicles on exist. They are able to escape. I don't know how many players they've managed to bring up into it, but I see Reckless speeding on forward. But will he just be gunned down the moment he shows his face? A Storm is still able to do some damage as well. kill gets confirmed, and it's SF to get themselves now up to 5, but more fire coming back towards them. And it doesn't matter where you look or where you turn. There's buzzlets flying everywhere. You might get capped just looking around.
Gunner, 1 bullet, that's all they need, and Aimer's able to get it. Flacco left alone, and he's going to be slowly ticking down because of the blue zone. If I were him, you know you're not going to make it out. I would just die to the blue zone, deny points away from 4KT. That would be the best course of action for him. As Scrim Farm currently still pushing forward. I think they're pretty much soon out of smokes. They're going to struggle. One crate. This crate could be big. It's going to create some really good coverage for a team that could potentially make it to that position, but it's still pretty far out there, so it might not be as impactful as you might think. But atlmagicians also, they've been roaming all over the place from really far away. You mentioned it earlier, Banks, that the circle has always been moving away from them. And yet, despite that fact, they're still able to hold on strong, potentially aiming to get himself a 3rd position as Flacco is slowly going to be ticking down into the blue. But this is a game that 4KT, they're still in the circle. They got the only compound left available. The other teams are in the open fields. There's not much they can do. As Yuumi, the perfect off angle, 2 headshots on Vortex and Legacy. That's amazing.
Huge work here from SF. Whether it's going to be enough is another thing, because they are in uncomfortable positions, especially with how split they are. The revives are going to be troublesome. Yuumi might be able to crawl her way to success and find the revive coming up for him. Where 4KT, it's only 5 kills for now, but a big win. It's certainly what they need, a confidence boost for the games they've had so far. And it's all about being proactive in positions like this. Flacco just healing up as much as possible. He's run out of first aid. He's going to take some more shots in the dark. Great effort from him, though. 3 kills at the end of this. He is the last one of his team to die, but he still got them a respectable 4th place with 10 kills
the circle.
total. But there was just 2 players just alive. Oh, no.
Oh.
4KT.
Talk about being given a circle.
Every day of the week. Every day of the week.
Oh, maybe not.
Not Prontos, though. Not Prontos. Poor guy. He pushed it out. Thought he might be able to do a sneak attack. Instead, more bullets came out towards him, and he got headshotted.
I like how Pronto's got an entire compound, and he's like, I'm going to hide behind that tree there. That tree, I like that tree. He's my friend. Give his best shot. MVC going to be moving out. Hey, you know what? Hey, Team Trees. Hashtag Team Trees. Still donate. It's going on, apparently. But Vortex keep on pushing out. The smokes is good, but... Oh, Scrim Farm got the perfect angle. Going to deny that push from happening. And now Scrim Farm got to push inside, but the nades are coming out.
Oh, my. They just thought that was the time to strike. And then one well-placed nade pushes them on back. 4KT do have all of their squad alive. They're in a great position. Aimer up in the forward house. Maybe the one that could be picked off at the easiest location, but it's going to be very hard to finish them off. The cover they've got is solid. Nades go up, but doesn't quite go in. And it's all about just playing this smart now. For SF, they're waiting for 4KT to make a mistake. If 4KT don't make any mistakes, you have to at some point go out and fight. And it does not benefit you in the slightest. Ooh. Through the dark, through the smoke. Yuumi, she wants to try and land some shots.
It's all going to
Look at
depend
the
on
awareness as well.
really.
Storm at the back, right? He's in a great position because no one's going to be able to try and sideswipe him. Pronto on the right-hand side, he understands the same from the other side. That means that there's nothing that SF can do in order to take this fight successfully. You are pinned at every point you want to try and move. You're not snaking your way to it. You're not sneaking on forward. You are just in a tough spot. And these nades, they're going deep. Kara dies out to the play zone. Was that on purpose or was that a mistake?
I think he just forgot about the blue ticking down. He was scoped in, so maybe not looking at his health bar entirely, so he died because of it. And Yuumi also trying to leapfrog from hay bale to hay bale. And also with that crate, she could maybe make it over there. And maybe the game could be going their way. And because there's so many players still remaining here, I can't even see the next circle is on this one. So I'm intrigued to see where it's actually going to be centering upon. I think, from what I believe, I think it is coming a little bit more in favor of Slime 4KT, so they don't really have to move whatsoever. Scrim Farm, this is a game that they could win it, but they need perfect accuracy, headshot after headshot after headshot to make it happen. So we'll see. The grenade, they know exactly what Snowix is. Those grenades are so close every time. Damn.
I don't know how Snowix has managed to avoid them. A knock from Yuumi, though. This is something to start with. Aimer, being cautious as well, goes out for the fight, but they all strike while the iron is hot. Snowix goes down. And now it's all up to 1 versus 4. Yumi behind the crate. Shots go out. And she goes down. Ava gets it done in the end. Slimer get themselves a win. A very anticlimactic win. One we could expect again. But at least it was fairer in where the circle went.
It comes down exactly to what we said just a few days ago. Sure, you can be given a circle, but it doesn't matter if you can't use a circle accordingly. And here you were seeing the side of Slime 4KT being proactive, be on top of their game, and not allowing anyone to get close. The closest the team was ever able to get that entire game was 50, 60 meters, and that was Yumi from the side of Scrim Farm. Other than that, no one was able to get that close of that compound, which shows a good showcase of good defense. You're able to zone away. Your map awareness is top tier also, which is exactly what 4KT were playing upon. They were super aware of their surroundings, and that is the reason why they had a compound and still survived it as a 4-man team. That's going to be an extra 7 kills actually going their way on this one, so they're looking to be grand in this one all around. Once again, 22 points coming their way once more, because initially we've got to talk about this. They were, before this game, in 13th with 5 points. So here, they're leapfrogging in top 5 right after this one, I do believe. So overall, making it up there is going to be amazing. And as I say that, not quite top 5. They're going to be top 6 with 27 points, but only 1 point away from that top 5 position. So that was a leap that 4KT desperately needed here, Banks.
It is a leap they needed, and it's something that they can be proud of. They managed to make it work because they were under fire a bit earlier on as well. We saw them. They were having to get involved. For the Drogons, though, I'm sorry, boys, but this is problem city right now because you need to find some spots. You need to find some space. Day 1, you may be just about able to get away with a bad day, but it's from tomorrow. They need to bring their A game 100%. Was Art of Killing Esports the team you went for as well? Just to point
Art
out.
of Killing Esports, the team I went for. Yeah, it is. Okay. You know what? Fair enough, Banks. I didn't have Vikendi. You voted for Art of Killing. I am known as a cursed caster. I told you this on day 1, Banks, okay? I said the team's going to win, and it's very rare. I was so surprised when I said Blackjack Esport were going to win just a few days ago, and they did. I was like, wait, what? Is the curse broken? Apparently not. Apparently it's still there. I think it just had a vacation for a day or two, and I was able to call the proper team. But I also want to talk about the fact that here we have Scrim Farm. They are looking grand. Yep. Second position, 48. Game 1, they actually kicked off their impact was a 3rd position. This means out of 3 games, Scrim Farm has got 3 top 3s. That is how consistent Scrim Farm currently is. This is amazing to see coming out from this team. And without even a win, they get 1 win, and that's going to bump them up into number 1 position over Undisputed African Esports that in the first place, I did not even think a team today at least could contest that position. But Scrim Farm, throughout consistent results, are actually making it super close, just 1 point difference, and they might be on the tippity top of the mountain. And Yumi, that game, the shots she was pulling through, despite being in like one of the worst positions ever, she was pulling really good engagement. So I got to say, Yumi, big heads up for that Miramar game.
And also, one thing to touch on is just for anyone that didn't realize, during the groups, they were called eSports, if I'm right. That was the full name.
eSports, yeah.
Yeah, eSports was the name. Now they've changed to Scrim Farm AF. Maybe they just needed a name change, new me, new day, new play. Does that work?
We'll say yeah. I'm not going to contest it, otherwise you're going to bully me again. So I'll just agree with everything you say. Yes, Mr. Banks, you are indeed right. It is a good point you say.
That's not going to be fun if you just agree with everything. That's definitely not what I want.
I'm just keeping out of trouble, okay? I'm not looking for confrontation.
Okay, Max, we all hate Vikendi, right?
Why you got to do this to me?
Well, you said you're going to agree with me. I just thought I'd see if you're going to slander your own map. The one you love so much.
I cannot. Clearly that's where I pull the. That's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. You've gone too far, Banks. Okay.
Now, one thing I'm definitely going to touch on as well, right? We've already pointed out for the Drogons, they weren't exactly the most stellar team we saw throughout the group stage. Yes, they're right at the bottom right now. They need to look at spots that they don't need to be contesting with other teams. I know you might want to fight for your spots, boys, but sometimes do the review, look back at it and say, actually, I'm going to go and take this spot. Actually, I'll go and take another open space. Play your game for a bit of the longer fight, because it's not like you're bad players. You are just fighting and losing early on, and this is a problem for you guys. The other team, though, is KHK. One of the best teams we were told within this region, and it's not been a good start for these guys. They've not had this great performance, and they were the team that we were always saying, they didn't just play for the circle, they were playing for the aggression. We saw them, they want to take fights. We saw many top-tier players coming out from these guys, and so far today, it has not been working out. They've only got 1 more game, Max. And already, today has shown us a lot. I'm going to ignore the Sanhok game, but all the other games, we've started to understand how things can be panning out here. And it's only Drogons that seem to be picking the spot where there's always another person that's going to have to fight up against them. So maybe, considering we're playing Erangel twice and not getting Vikendi, just so you guys know, there's no Vikendi. Not allowed it. Max got it banned. It's all his fault. But because we do have the extra Erangel in there, because we got the extra Erangel in there, hopefully this is why I do see the Drogons. You choose another spot, right? You don't want to see him take that same fight again.
Yeah, this is actually a really good point. They can act accordingly right away because we are indeed having that double Erangel. So right away they know, okay, we messed up game one. We knew that rotation, that early drop two was just not going to work out for us. Maybe trying to adjust it heavily and adjust also your rotational pass, because it's not really the drop location on game one that caused their demise, even though it did a little bit. It is mostly their rotational path that did cause their big issues for them on that first game. So now coming into this second game of Erangel for today, I'm hoping they're going to understand the surrounding of where teams are going to be dropping into and how they rotate a lot better. And if they can do so, they should be able to adjust their maneuver pathing towards a circle. At least I'm hoping to, because this is a point in time where I'm going to say normally for a format like this, where you got 16 games total for all these teams, you need to have potentially, well, you don't need, you can afford one bad day. If you have any more than one bad day, I'm going to say your odds of making the number one position are rendered to nothing unless you get win after win after win. So Drogons, sure, today was a one-off day. It happens to the best of us. I get it. But this is it. That is all you're going to get. Now you need to be on top of your game every single day throughout the entirety of this finals that are still remaining. And if not, well, unfortunately, the odds of them making it into the finals are just going to be rendered to nothing.
Well, do you know what, Max? For teams to be able to ensure that they can get these wins and bring these consistent results, they've got to be innovative, right? That's what they have to be doing. And that's what happens with the Reno 5G. Beyond just innovation and technology, the Oppo Reno 5G is the champion of your best self. Share the inspiring moments with your loved ones using Oppo's best-in-class image technology and camera functions. There we go. We continue to show you the benefits of getting one of the Reno 5Gs. And obviously, you guys may just sit there and go, okay, yep, they keep telling us this. Definitely check it out, because we need these things to be bringing you leagues like the PMCO to be able to support us and make all of this happen, because I know you guys love it. You want to see your teams perform, and we love seeing it too. There is only one more match going on today, though, and we are going to Erangel next. But before that, we need to kick to a break. So if you've been here, if you've been sat at your PC the whole time, maybe you get up, go for a walk, just stretch your legs a bit, get another bit of water or something, and then make sure you're back in just a few moments, because we're bringing you the final game. We're back for one final time as we move into the final match. We're going to Erangel. We're upsetting Max a little bit further in here. No more memes on him because he can't take it anymore. He's going to start creating memes on me. And actually, Max is a master of memes, so I don't want to deal with that. He thinks that I'm the bully, but I feel like you have more meme potential than I do, Max. I feel like you would out-meme me.
I'm a professional memester. I love stealing stuff. That's what I do. It is my job. I do me. Hey, Photoshop. Hey, when I do my resume, Photoshop, I got 10 stars. Okay, that's how good I'm on Photoshop. I'm ready to meme it out anytime if needed. Now, of course, we're not going to be memeing on this fourth game because it is going to be the closing factor of today. Back to Erangel. We mentioned DROGONS. I'm just hoping they can improve on the fly over the course of today to avoid those early skirmishes and not die early on because they are at a point of no return. If they lose this game, in my opinion, they can't afford to have any more bad games. Sure, they can maybe have another one, but after that, you need good game after good game after good game to even just barely catch up. To actually overtake number one position, you're going to need wins after wins after wins all over the place. So hopefully, DROGONS are going to be able to improve over time also. But not only that, I'm also looking at Art of Killing eSports. They've been taking fights a lot of the time where I do not think that made sense. I was super happy with their performance in the group stage, and I think they were showing true promises. Their fighting was good, their macro was good, their rotational pathing was good also. And now here, they're just taking fights that, number one, they do not win, and number two, don't even make sense. They're on positions where they're just going out of their way to take a fight. So Art of Killing eSport, it's hard to do on today to completely reset your mindset, but hopefully tomorrow, we're going to be seeing a completely different Art of Killing eSports. Also, because I don't want to look bad because I voted for the team to win. So please, get some games in, guys. I don't want to look like a guy that doesn't know what I'm talking about. I mean, maybe. I mean, hey, maybe. I don't know. You guys decide, okay?
You do know what you're talking about, but I'm with you, right? Because we saw things from these teams, and that's another thing. When we see lobbies come together and we just have the same 16 teams, it's when you're literally not have any weak links you can pick off, and maybe it overinflates some of the stats and stuff we see. I want to bring up the rankings again as well, just to see where we're at after the first 3 games. Because, okay, UAE, you have impressed us once again. You've been up there. You've had a chicken dinner already. But I think rightly so, we need to put a lot of praise on Scrim because they haven't taken a win. They have just had the good, consistent placements. And they're proving already that the momentum they had from group stage, they have only got better. Because remember at groups, at the beginning, we didn't see much from them at all, right? It wasn't like huge plays and anything special. We're like, okay. And then they just kept being up there. They kept pulling off. They were taking up more fights. They were able to win against some of the better teams. And we started to say, okay, this is legit. I never did I think we'd see them in second place already at this point. And the fact it's been 3 games of solid results, it's like they could potentially end today with a first place very comfortably without a chicken dinner. So these 2 teams at the top, having this amount of points early on is impressive. The YONKOUS, we have the amazing moment from Yearbot, but in general, they've only got 17 points for now. It's not as ideal as they would want. I would say from Spaza Six as well, we started to talk more about them towards the end of the group stage, but this has not been the start they wanted. And again, you've said it, Max, you're completely right. One day is not going to define all of it. But if you have such a bad day early on, the catch-up, the pressure, all the things that come into it for the following 3 days. Remember, it's only 4 days of playoff stage here for these guys. And only one team qualifies for the PMPL. This is a lot on the line. And again, yes, you've made it this far. You should still be very happy. You're one of the 16 best teams within the region. But it's like, you're in your mind, you'll be thinking, oh, so close, but so far, you know? And that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah. When you have such a bad day like this, we talked about this at the very start of the show. We said, good average of points is going to be 10 to 10 points a game. That's great. That's fantastic. And then when you're having a bad day like this, it bumps your average of points you need per game to try and even just catch up to maybe from 8 to 10 points to 12 to 15 points. And if you have another bunch of bad games, then you need to get potentially 16 to 18 points per game. So it really makes things so tricky when you're so far behind because it really bumps the amount of points you need per game afterwards. And it is where things are, it makes it even harder to remain consistent. Teams like Undisputed African Esport or even Scrim Farm, they've been consistent since the very start because they have that average that now has been even lowered. They don't even need that many points throughout the next 3 days. So they can actually chill and lay back a little bit if they want to. Even though it's just one slot for the PMPL, so they don't want to show any signs of slowing down. They want to keep that train running. But this is the thing. I'm looking at this, and teams, they're going to be falling behind eventually. And if you fall behind, it's going to make things super hard. So I'm looking at DROGONS, thinking, please get back into it right now. I would not want to see some teams that have no chance of making it. I think that all these teams made in this top 16 for a reason, because they are the top 16 teams in the African region as of yet. So yeah, it's just it. I'm just putting a little bit of word of support to the guys out there. I know it can be a lot of pressure, can be super stressful, but sometimes you just got to be able to deal with that pressure and just make it your own. You know, teams under pressure, sometimes they struggle and they do not perform well. And you have some other teams that under pressure, they do extremely, extremely well. And they just pop the hell off in so many big ways. It's so good to see. But here you go. It is the first PMCO once again for the African region. So maybe some teams are just also not used to competitive settings. They're stressed out. I know I can't even 1v1 some players sometimes because I'm just overwhelmed by stress. So hopefully some teams can make it happen here, Banks, as we are going to be making our way into our next game.
Yes, it is time for the final game. We're about to fly on in. The match is about to start, and this is the moment of truth. You have the support of your mobile phone as you know it, and when it comes to mobile gaming, not all smartphones are created equal, and Oppo has specially designed its latest devices with this in mind. The Reno 5G is your perfect match for PUBG. It has remarkable power and speed, plus best-in-class graphics and audio for the ultimate entertainment for your favorite gaming session. And our favorite gaming session can often end on Erangel because we get it 2 times a day, and this plane is right down in the south, Max. These teams that want to work their way up to Severny, maybe up North George, Yasnaya, Rozak, they got a way to go.
Yeah, this is not fun. This is, if I was playing this, I'd be like, come on, man. Like, we already not having a good game. Now opening us a pretty, like, what I would even call like a very bad playing path. It sucks. I'm not fun with it. Teams are going to be a little bit stressed out if they tend to drop up north. We saw a few teams like Slime 4KT drop towards Southern George Pearl, towards the crates area. So they're going to have to elongate that drop position. But these kind of circles, and we talked how important it is. This is why having a secondary drop location is so damn important. Pain Africa, boom, secondary drop location found west of military base. They drop there instantly. They do not have to extend that drop to make it to their main compound position early on. So I think that's great for Pain Africa. And other than that, most teams should be completely fine. KHK also going to be in mill to power. So they got himself a nice little split. Oh my god, these fatal circles are just running away from the players. They just want to avoid them at all costs. As it's over to the northeastern edge, Stolb is in play, but this could be a very similar circle to what we had in game 1 here, Banks.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the first Erangel game. Now this is an interesting one. Exist and SF close on by. Ellie was moving on forward. Needs to be careful because the whole existence squad are just further up. Yumi does seem to have the awareness that there is going to be one player close by.
No, that's
a shot and a half if you could hit it. I saw the kill feed come up then and I was like, what? But nope, it wasn't a landed shot. There we go. That was one for surprise at least. They found 1 kill already though. Who did they find 1 kill on?
I didn't know. I was actually able to say that for a second. I was just looking at Yumi. Just wait, what? Like you got the famous GIF. Do you say GIF or GIF? By the way, thanks. I got to judge you right there.
GIF.
What do you say? GIF. Okay,
GIF.
We're gonna say GIF too.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm gonna agree with you a lot today.
GIF?
I say GIF too, but I'm just gonna because
do you?
I don't
do you really, Max? Can I get the truth?
No, I say GIF. Okay, I say GIF. Okay, I'm horrible. I'm disgusting. I get it.
Oh no!
Oh no, this is looking bad for Yumi.
And they've had so many good games. Yumi, she took that shot towards them and maybe gave away too much with that other player close. Waits behind the door, doesn't go out just yet, tries to take the shot, pumping it up, taking it, but also struggling. Gets a knock on the flame, tries to escape, nearly makes it, but can't quite get over the wall. Her teammates were hoping to come in and save her, and they're going to gate crash the party as well. They're full on sending for it. Is it going to be enough? Shots coming on out. SF may have overcommitted to this because existence just rolled straight over them.
Yumi was already dead, mate. Wait, what did he try and save someone who already died? He's going to try and avenge it. He gave it a shot regardless. I feel really sad for Yumi. Reason why? She only dropped in this building, and she looted 2 shotguns. Nothing else. Not a Uzi, not an M4, not a Scar, not an AKM, nothing. No, just 2 shotguns. And that's the hand you were dealt. So unfortunately, that is not the best kind of weapons to have if you want to clutch it up. Now Existence picking up their cars, the rest of Scrim Farm. Kira and also Ellie just going to be moving down to the farm area where there's 1 playoff temper. Hopefully not going to take those shots through, but she was dealt a really hard hand to deal with, and unfortunately she was not able to overcome the opposition. And that was still a really good push, I got to say, from Existence. They knew someone was there, that they had a shotgun too, so they're like, we can easily win that fight. So I got to say, good execution from Existence that since the group stage, they're feeling a lot more confident in the last 4 games, actually, I got to say. They've been feeling really confident on their aggressiveness.
Yeah, they definitely have. But this one, maybe they just like, I don't know, misread the situation, I guess, because the last send on the player to try and save Uni after she died didn't really make much sense. Sometimes it just goes that way. Maybe you just feel like you're unstoppable at a point and you can take those kind of fights. We're going to sit with Gun for now, who already found themselves up in a good position. Oh, we're back on the exist. There you go. I've completely lost what I'm looking at and reading. But they're the ones who found 2 kills. There was the 2 kills we saw earlier onto SF either way. And for existence right now, they were a team that I always sat like, I wasn't super impressed with them. They're pretty good, but like they didn't blow my mind or anything. But now they're in actually position at the moment in total points where they're in 4th place. They obviously had the win that they got on the bridge, the funny Sanhok game, but they've had 22 placement points and 8 kill points, which in general says the consistency has been there. And yes, okay, you can say, oh, the bridge won, the ending, it just benefited them. They were the one that had to take the decision to take that forward position on the bridge. The other teams went under, you know, like they just played it smart, even if it was an awful circle.
Yeah. Actually, all the other teams that were up north actually crossed the river to make it to the riverbank. And they were the only team that stayed up there. So it was a big gamble. The odds of that circle happening like that were, what, 5%, even lesser than 5%. So you took the gamble, it worked out, and that's how you play PUBG Mobile from time to time. But Temper, 4-man car rotation, just going to be zoning it down onto Gun. But none of those bullets shall connect as Temper just keeps on moving, looking for a compound to call home, which apparently they're going to go straight next to Yasnaya Poliana. They got a compound in the field, which could be a good position to hold on to, and I believe that's where they're going to go. They haven't scouted, so they're being very careful of how they approach this, and they are indeed going to make it in there. As also, Spaza Six is going to be moving in the background, but now they see that Temper's here, they are definitely not going to be trying to contest that position. As Flacco, he's running out there. He's thirsty for blood. God damn.
They first of all took shots as a 4-man car, which is always scary because if Gun just decided to turn around and actually take the fight, it's a problem. But then they take the compound and they fire off these warning shots saying, nope, we're here. You're not having this from us. This is ours. Go away.
Oh, bless you.
Sorry, Max. Just tried to hit the mute button in time and then sneezed uncontrollably.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm very easy to scare, and that scared me. I did jump a lot. I was like, oh, what was this?
I just blew up all the viewers' earphones as well at the same time. You know, we're having a lot of fun today. Something's definitely happened. I've drunk some funny water.
Oh, damn. The Temper, yeah, they're going to be able to get himself a good position. This is a spot that's pretty hard to scout from in general. So if they do have to rotate from here, it is going to be blindfolded. They're not going to know really what they're walking into, which I think, oh, that's great. Actually, what they're doing, they actually use the car, the Dacia, as a way to send one of the players on the roof so they can just peek a little bit easier. So I think that's overall a really good idea. As Spaza Six, they were looking for another position since Temper took that other compound in the field and seemed like they went for the hospital up on the eastern edge of Yasnaya Poliana, which I think is great. Erase the crew, find another compound over to the east of Yasnaya. Also, so far, there's a lot of compounds in these kind of circles initially, especially still phase 1, so you can easily play some spots. But normally, when you have an Erangel game like this, for the African region at least, they tend to all center it up really quickly if possible. As long as the circle's not a weird one, they go center, and then they try and put as little effort in terms of rotational pathing into the mid-game stage, so they don't have to move. It's been working out great for teams such as Gun, for example, that didn't have to move much. Same for Existence and also Slime 4KT. And hopefully they're trying to have the circle go in their favor, but the circle could hard shift away. Scrim Farm moving through, Flame taking shots, but nothing is going to connect just yet.
They tried. And it was onto SF at least, who have been struggling from the very start. Exist looking to finish off what they started at least. Razor, another team that we've been seeing trying to take these fights very early on, trying to fight for ground. They can have Existence now on the other side of them. Oh! Flame! Wow. That's a shot and a half. Literally, they just got there to have a look after hearing all those shots. Razor's like, who's over there? Bang! And then straight away he gets knocked down.
He wasn't even peeking. He was just like running around. I was like, oh, well, okay. I guess I'm down. Okay. Fair enough. But he raised the crew getting bullied in that compound. Yeah, he's off to a good start. You know what? Existence taking the suppressive shots once again, making sure this is our compound. No one is going to contest it. That is what you should be seeing. As most teams, as we said, going pretty central. atlmagicians going to make it in there. And this is copy-pasted of what we had on game 1. I swear to God. This is looking great, but I'm looking at also PAINAF Africa. They are very far behind when it comes down to their rotation. But I enter through the west. There's not too many teams gatekeeping the Northwest and Southwest, but they still got to be careful because, once again, this is a team that's going to go into this blindfolded. And DROGONS, they're actually avoiding the entirety of Milta. Like, we've taken way too many early game fights. We're just going to wrap around Milta. We don't want to get involved. So over that, DROGONS, that's already an improvement from what we've seen so far from them, I would say.
They are in a better spot for sure. They've managed to stay alive in the early game. Now their rotation's happening, and actually considering their position now, and they're one of the last teams rotating in from the south, they should have a good spot to fight from. Like you said, they're avoiding Milta. They don't want to take any fights that might potentially still be a player hanging around or two. INF, for these guys, it's not been a terrible day. They're middle of the pack right now, but it's not the same INF we've been seeing from before. Influence Rage Africa were a team that impressed us so much during the group stage, gave us so many hype moments. They hit one 20 kill game, but nearly got a second. It was like 19, so they're right on the edge of it.
Yeah.
And so far, okay, it's the opening day. Maybe you're not going to see it straight away, but I'd love to see that full force INF be able to do some big damage once again. Flacco and Temper, though, they're still sat within this compound we saw them go to earlier, and now they're going to find themselves some targets to shoot at least. A bit of chip damage done. And they just continue to fire off these shots like, nope, don't come here. We are here. This is ours. Do you not think you can just pull up on it?
So he's then trying to slow down for a second on the road. That is definitely not a spot you want to stay into.
Nope.
Overall, I think that the building that Spaza Six have currently, which is I call it the hospital area, has got multiple different names, so you can call it whatever you want. But this is a spot where it's good for scouting, especially you can take some really good shots. You've got some high ground positions, and it's a pretty hard spot to also breach because it's surrounded by walls, which makes it really easy to grenade. So as a temporary location for Spaza Six, this is great. INF just able to cruise on by, find their compound. That's also amazing. Nothing to really talk about just yet, I would say. But Gun, they're dead center of the circle. Exact same position, by the way, that they had game one. The circle is perfectly centering up around them. If this is a copy-paste of those circles every single time and going in favor of Gun, I will not know what to believe anymore. They are the circle magnet on Erangel every time the circle coming in their favor. But also it's fields around them, so no one can contest it. So even in a mid-game, it's a spot that is super hard to contest away. So Gun, they know exactly what they're doing with that position once again.
I don't want any conspiracy theories, Max, but you know, Gun, team I picked for this, circle's also going towards them. I have the magic button. You know.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't, Bangs.
No, I respect my integrity too much for that. I wouldn't be doing it anytime soon. AOK, though, we spoke about these already, and they have not had the best starts. They have been taking some fights. They've not found themselves able to find too much success within it all just yet. And they're currently sat down in 14th place with just 1 placement point and 5 killing points. Can they turn it around in a game like this? They certainly will need to. Good positions here from both KHK and AOK for now. And where are we going to go? Is it going to be the same? Have I really jinxed it? Is it all really possible?
If it goes northwest, it could be. Hey, you know what? South not a little bit, but it still could be going up there. But it's there's not many compounds though. This is actually like in terms of compounds, this is actually really bad. You still got the compounded center was going to be what's it called? It's called It's like the American shop. I forgot the name. Target. You can call it Target also if you want. Okay. Walmart also is another one. Target, Walmart. If you're in the UK, it's Target. If you're not, then Walmart is going to be the one that you can easily take over. I think we are currently seeing KHK. They send Sully forward to scout, but he's going to get a little bit hunted away by Inspector with that car. We'll see who is able to make it over to that position first, but I think that UAE are definitely going to be taking that spot for themselves, as it is the most central compound throughout this entire circle. So they're going to try and get there first. As AOK looking for some shots, looking to improve their average today that's been drastically low. So trying to make sure, doing some suppressing shots, but Sully actually able to get Inspector. Oh, Sully, this is big. But yeah, there was too many players of UAE, so Sully will get knocked and I believe flushed, as the rest of KHK is nowhere nearby.
Yeah, that was the problem. He was scouting up ahead, trying to make sure he put his team in a good position. Getting the knock on his own was impressive, but after that, they all pushed on forward. They all took the fight to him. And now they'll be playing with just 3 for now. Okay, need to be careful from here as well because, yeah, okay, you're right on the edge of the circle. You're watching everyone go by. You're taking shots. But they do keep taking a lot of damage. I'm seeing them get knocked down. DROGONS, I feel bad for them, man. They literally just got in the circle and then it shifts up and they've had to go all the way back. They're being so cautious. And I respect it. You need to right now. There's still 16 teams alive in this. We're looking for a long game all the way through on this one. But DROGONS, they're not taking any risks. They're not going to go straight across. They're not being shot at. They want open space to fight from. And they want to be able to play the game their way in order to get some huge points for the final game.
They just need a 100% a mental reset, which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to play it hyper passive, trying to redeem themselves in our eyes and also in the viewers' eyes. Hopefully, they will be off to a good game. It would be great to see them end off with a top 5 minimum. I think that at least they are roaming in such a way that could give them a top 5. Just need a good circle. Pops and Reckless. Is this the second time Reckless fell out of a car today? I got the impression I saw that twice. This sounds like deja vu. But we'll overlook that with Reckless. A little bit too reckless with the driving, apparently. You got to be careful. So, going to be moving out. Kingdom in. Oh, spotted by Broly. Oh, shot's not connecting. But also in the circle, one thing that I saw happen that I thought was interesting is atlmagicians, they went straight for the side of Shelter, which Shelter position is going to be an interesting one, but they actually went right through Shelter and went for the compound up north, which is good. But teams like also 4KT could be roaming from that position. So I'm hoping the atlmagicians are not just focused up north on what's happening, because there are a few spots where teams could roam down south and contest that position. So hopefully they're going to be careful. And as I said, look at that. You got also 4KT on a good spot, but that circle towards Mansion, and the team Zim Mansion is going to be Blackjack Esports. But Gun, once again, exact same compound as in game 1. Man, Banks, I thought I knew you. I didn't think you'll put the circle in biased positions like this.
Clearly, I'm this evil. AOK haven't had to move, by the way, and now they'll just move a little bit further towards the western side. DROGONS, again, look what they're doing now. They're like, okay, we'll just go back around. They'll take the longest route. We spoke about this, right, during group stage, that sometimes people rotate a little bit too basic. They just go almost straight lining it. What DROGONS are doing, I'm a big fan of, especially if you're wanting to play towards a late game. If you want to be playing smart, go down south if the circle's gone up north, or go up north if the circle's gone down south, and just work the longer route around it, but you think it's going to be a safer fight, a safer option for you here. A safer option for Temper right now, though, is going to be keeping an eye on what Broly might be able to do. He found himself around the corner here. He is very isolated away from his teammates. They've got their high ground there on top of the building. Broly, he's being smart. He's being safe. He's running on away. 4KT going to find themselves as well in the meantime, being naded on down. It's AOK actually potentially able to find some kills here. This is a big fight if Temper can try and win it. But they have to push on over and try and make it work as well. I don't think they've got a huge advantage in a one like this. And for now, they're all chilling in the circle. But Temper, they hoped they could gate crash the party here. And soon, Gunn are going to find themselves in a similar position as the first game we saw on Erangel, where they were in this exact same compound, but eventually weren't getting any kills. They kept getting shot at. They kept taking mini fights, but not actually able to achieve anything. And then eventually you have to move away, and it's just too far. You're too far behind then. Oh, SG here as well. There we go. We got the quads coming in, potentially. We're up at the triples already. Just add one more to the party, and let's set up one big firework for them all.
And I'm sitting there. Oh, okay. You know what? Gonna keep that thought for a second as YONKOUS taking a fight. INF, they just get obliterated entirely, and YONKOUS off to a good start. Scrimfarm going to be moving in the background, but YONKOUS, this is a fight that I think they desperately needed too, because they have not been having the best run so far. Currently in the 11th position here. They need to pump those numbers up just a bit. Those are rookie numbers right now. As Nero, hey, there you go. DROGONS starting to get in some aggressive plays. Nero with a good grenade onto Reckless. Seemed like DROGONS have been rotating pretty good and doing exactly as you mentioned earlier. If the circle rotates, shifts over harshly to the east, try and wrap around, make it, and breach the circle through the eastern edge, which is what DROGONS are trying to do. So I think that here you have a big mindset reset potentially for them. And I think they are executing on it pretty good. But 4KT and AOK, that fight is still going, man. It's been going on for ages. Yeah. I wonder who's coming out on top, actually. I have no idea.
Oh, the DROGONS are going to pick up some kills, though.
Nice.
It's about time we see it, and it starts to work out for them. That's a nice position to find themselves in. Especially when it's been pretty awful for them from start to finish within the opening games. They need at least a few kills coming in there. But no, oh, they're getting sandwiched by KHK. Oh, just when it starts, I'm like, oh, it's looking good. This isn't so bad. More shots come out towards them. It's down in this south, and they're stuck between 4KT and KHK. I wouldn't want to be stuck between those two teams ever, let alone one of them.
I think nobody wants, yeah. one of the worst positions. Oh, PP Bison players coming on through from Hanad off Pain Africa. And he's at... Wait, is that... Wait, did he just squad wipe? Wait. I think Hanad just squad wiped the entirety of...
Yeah,
wait, I think, okay, good job going out from Hanad on the PP Bison. Not really the clutch type of weapon you would usually see. He's able to make it work out regardless. Spaza Six still onto their POV is going to be DT. Waiting for that opportunity, but I would say Spaza Six got to move away. But Eraser Crew taking a fight with Temper, and Temper down. Snap your fingers, and the fight is over. And Eraser Crew pick up 4. Gonna get the res onto Impulse also. What a good start from them. And they're right next door to Mansion also. This is an easy circle position.
That's impressive from Eraser because Temper were there for so long, and they were sat down just waiting to try and take the fight against Gun. Then SG pulled up. Temper tried to get away, ran straight into Eraser, and they took full advantage of it. And they could continue to push on this and try and make something work if they really wanted to. They still need to go into the circle. They just need to keep their eyes open. I've just seen Blade get knocked, and I'm hoping that isn't the end of the Drogons already because it was a better start to a game here. It was something they could have maybe worked with at least. Probably trying to make some nades connect.
Did Drogons eliminate KHK? I think they did. Oh, it's a close one. We'll have to see. A lot of teams going in the open field trying to start and initiate their snaking period. Matrix knocked down from a distance. That's going to be from Coco of Spaza 6. So they are struggling quite a bit. And on the other side is atlmagicians. But because they got so many cars, they're making those makeshift forts, those car forts position. So things are still looking pretty good for those teams, especially for atlmagicians. They got those rocks, which are great to hold on to. But this is very similar to game 1 once again. Yeah. It is flat terrain, down to snaking. We do not know who's going to be taking it. Whichever team snakes better will be on top. But I'm seeing Fex off 4KT. He's got himself an M249. And that to mow down players is going to be insane to play around with.
And the thing is here, 4KT are not just dealing with Eraser. More shots are being taken towards them from other teams that can see them. And 4KT are just in the circle, but you can't go further than where you are because Eraser are just looking for you. Now, Smoke's going to provide them with enough cover, at least for now, but it doesn't protect you from nades, doesn't protect you through bullets being sprayed through the smokes. It's not a shield. It just provides you with cover so you can hopefully bide your time and make the right decision to push on up. They have only lost 1 player. They've got 5 kills, which 4KT, we've literally seen them on the kill feed knocking and trying to be in fights for most of the game, I'll be honest. They deserve a nice try here to try and pick themselves back up. In the previous game, they started to find success, so they're looking to bring that momentum on forward. Well, we see Gun. Well, they did lose Plaza. Slim, oh no, so close to going down. The nade went out towards him. Brody's taking shots into UAE. But there's so many grenades going up in the air once again. UAE using it to perfection. But they're still under heavy fire. And Gun are playing the long distance fight here as well. Still on top. But for how long?
UAE took himself game 1 earlier. Let's see if they can try and be the kings of Erangel once again. But Gun, the more they're delaying this, the worse it's going to get. The blue zone is going to be closing up on their position in the next 8 seconds. And they're waiting. This is Spaza 6 just waiting for the opportunity. If I were the other team, if I were Gun, I would just pick up a car if there's one still available, which is not even sure, and tank a bit of the blue zone to just move away, because going downhill is a death sentence just about to come. I'm going to try it though. Earth me, going to be the first one initiating, and by them just walking down, I don't think they have a car to crash anywhere. So by foot, this is almost impossible to come out alive of.
You're just anticipating the shots, and look at this confidence. Coco's low on health as it is. What is going? Why would you do this? Oh no! They're back and forth. Deity's able to fight back a little bit with it, but still, that was uncomfortable. I know you needed to move, but you didn't even try heal up beforehand. Looks like Gun may have been eliminated with that one, though. But still, so much to fight for here. 4KT's trying to push on up. They're going to be helped out a little bit, though, with dealing with the erasers. It's a nice one from Blackjack Esports. They've actually helped out 4KT to try and take this fight and move on forward. And they've just been stuck here for so long.
I'm sure it's been like 50% grenade knocks in this game so far. I've seen grenade all the time in the kill feed. Is mental to see how heavily reliant on grenades this entire African meta currently is. Swave shot down nicely by atlmagicians player Kelvin. So that's going to make it a little bit harder for them to defend the side of Mansion. But the circle is not quite on top of Mansion itself. as might have to shift away because it's not dead center. If it shifts over to the west for phase 7, things could get a little bit dicey as team tried to move away. There's only one team over to the west, so it's going to be looking great for Spaza Six in case of a hard circle over to the western edge. 4KT, not too sure where they want to go. Do we push this one in? Do we go to the western edge? Do we just stay in this position? They are unsure, but they're just going to stay here for the time being. But they are on a dip, which some grenades coming out from Blackjack eSports, nicely thrown, could cause the demise of Sly and 4KT, so they've got to be very careful. And also of Eraser Crew, could be in a good spot to nade out, especially Storm. That's Cheddar, man. This guy's been popping off for Blackjack eSports, I do have to say. He's been doing God's work for the team.
Yeah, he's taken some fights and able to at least get the knocks in. Can they get some more confirms? Nades going up as well from his teammates. 4KT, I'm struggling to see how they can push on this. They need some more help on taking down Eraser or land some really key shots to make it work. Because right now, they've been stuck here for, what, 3-4 minutes now? They've not really been able to advance much further forward. Storm's trying to get there. He was currently hid behind the car. For the Magicians, they're up on 2 kills with 3 players left alive. They're being careful and having a good look around. There's so many different fights going on around them. And like you mentioned as well, SG, they're sat there, chilling for the moment, just waiting to see what the next circle is going to be.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Storm getting knocked. That's not what they wanted to see. Cheddar's able to help out. Again. This is what keeps happening. He's just doing it, by the way, without unknowingly helping out 4KT. Aimer pushing on in, and that's going to be it. Eraser go down. And he can revive Fex as well. That's brilliant. So there's still going to be 2 for 4KT. They've now got the house to play from. But they do need to be careful because Blackjack eSports have been in this compound in front of them for a long time. So yes, you've moved out of the tough position you were in, but the next one's even harder and you're down a man. And SG is trying to sneak up on behind them. I'm surprised they've got this far. Like, Coco, I don't even know how you're alive after that first attempt you tried in the buggy, mate.
It was a big risk, and it paid off, and now they're just given the best position, and the circle's actually sitting back over to the west, so overall, phase 7 is going to be their calling. It might just be a game for them, but Aimer, that final push we just saw on Eraser Crew, he was the reason why they were able to secure themselves that chicken dinner earlier versus Yumi of Scream Farm on Miramar, and he's able to keep his team alive, also able to res Fex to get him back to almost full health. So he is definitely going to be a big one of the players of 4KT to potentially push their way into the finals, and hopefully in that 1 PMPL slot. This Vortex, 1 grenade onto Zane. That could be huge, but Aimer's going to get it for himself.
The knocks come in. Oh, Magician's going to try and get the confirm straight away. Able to steal it away. Now for Blackjack eSports, right, the one thing I'm going to say when they're in this compound for now, it's a big one to fight from. And yes, they've been able to sit it for a while, but they are proactive. They are pushing out. Cheddar has been key, and he's the one who's up at 5 kills out of the 9 they've got in total. But every time you look at them, they're always moving. They're not just staying to one location. They're checking quickly, looking around, running back. We often see this where a team or a player might peek twice from the same location. And if you haven't spotted a player, he's seen you before you've seen them, they can take a shot and land something nasty on you, and that can lose that position entirely for you. But MJ, they've been fighting start to finish.
Oh!
That's a good nade. That's a really good nade. Molly with a follow-up as well. Oh!
It gets it.
No way. How did he land the volley like that, Swave? That's beautiful. That's so smart. They're going to take the fight towards Aimer. He's all alone. Swave is pushing on forward as well. He wants to run and gun him down. Cheddar's going to just provide some cover fire. The first aid's being popped, but it doesn't even matter. He runs on up and finishes him off. 4 players left alive in this, and the Magicians, they've just got Vortex. This should be an easy win now for Blackjack eSports, and that's exactly what happens. Incredible hold. I was just praising how they've held it, and they take initiative. That's what's most impressive. We see too many teams get stuck down looking at a compound and say, okay, we're in this position. We'll poke. We'll check every now and again. But they were everywhere. Didn't matter which side of the hill they were fighting from. They were able to take it to them.
Just 2 players this game, Cheddar and Swave. Cheddar, zoning potential was through the roof. He was just keeping everyone at bay away from their position. The moment they had that mansion position under their control, they were inside of it. Cheddar was making sure no one was going to be able to breach it and take it as their own. And on the other side, did you see what Swave did after that grenade on Molly? He jumped over the wall. Normally, you should not be able to do that. And he's just like, okay, I'm just going to jump on over. He was not playing PUBG Mobile. He was doing parkour. He He's just trying to chase it down, find the final player of 4KT in the hands of Aimer. And the moment Aimer was down, it was just set in stone. It was going to be a 3v1, and there's nothing the final player, Vortex of ATL Magicians, could really do. And looking at now the overall rankings, you're going to see Blackjack eSports. Before this game, they were in 9th position. From 9th to now 3rd, they jumped an extra 6 positions, and they're just knocking on the door of Undisputed African eSports. We could see Blackjack tomorrow actually being in that #1 slot tomorrow.
Certainly possible with this, but I'm just impressed. We have 2 teams with over 50 points in this now. Blackjack eSports not far behind them whatsoever. Slime 4KT, they made up for it. They got a 2nd place in this one. Only 3rd place in terms of points, but they got 16 points in total for that game. So not bad at all, just behind the ATL Magicians. So overall, you got to look at this and think that for Slime, they made a big recovery for sure. Gamers Unite Nation, they slowed down a little bit. They weren't able to keep the pace they set in the opening 2 games. And then for some of the other teams, YONKOUS, yeah, you've impressed us. You gave us some great moments. You've not brought up enough points for you to look that good. You can definitely play catch up. You're not down and out of it. KHK, I don't know what happened. I'd love to just hear from the players and understand what they felt went wrong today, because they just weren't able to take the fights. We didn't really get to see too much of them other than them getting shot down.
What I was seeing from KHK in that game is it was purely based on the kill feed, so I am not sure exactly how it happened in depth, but in the kill feed, what was happening is they were finding a lot of knocks and not converting those knocks into kills. So that means that when what happened, AOK were able to get a lot of reses through, and it was using all the resources, draining the resources away from KHK, making it super hard for them to continue that fight or go for another fight entirely. So I think that KHK, what we might be seeing for them is an issue of being able to close off fights quickly and efficiently. And if you don't do that, you are making things very hard for yourself. But I also want to touch on DROGONS real quick. DROGONS, we were really critical of this team in the first 3 games. I think they improved on this game here. Sure, they got just 1 extra point, which is nothing. They only got 2 points total, which is horrible over 4 games. It's really, really bad. It's not even a 1 point average per game. It's 0.5 average per game, which is out of this world. But DROGONS, I think they showed that their rotation here was a lot stronger. Sure, you can't, even with good rotation, sometimes you're not going to win games. That's okay. But DROGONS, if you keep rotating like this, you'll get some points in for the next 3 days. I'm sure about it. So hopefully they can keep that one up there, because I think DROGONS can make it through. But another team that I want to touch upon real quick that surprised me that is not actually high up there is Temper. Sure, they got 29 points. They can still contest away with top 3 position going into tomorrow. But this is the 2nd position team, and they falling off a little bit. So Temper, intrigued to see what their course of action, what their game plan is going to be hitting into day 2, 3, and 4.
But when you touch on this, right, when we came into this, when we were talking to people within the African community and Mamba helping us out massively, we were told to look at KHK, Blackjack eSports, and Temper, right? And those 3 teams right now have showed us very different levels of what they can achieve. But still, when I look at Undisputed African eSports, they've sat there and surprised us in these opening games. They also topped it in the group stage. So they're probably the team to fear the most right now. In Gun, they've had some good moments today, some moments where we still need to kind of work on it. Like both times that Erangel circle went towards them, they found themselves in great positions, but they weren't taking the kind of initiative that we saw at the end there from Blackjack eSports. Because what we saw from Blackjack eSports was them taking fights, not just able to take on the fights and take control and get the kills, but they were able to push on it as well. They held their ground, but they were proactive in their movement. I felt like Gun, they were just like gun turrets, you know, just sat up the top, taking shots, taking fights. Like when they had Temper down below them that time, maybe that's a point where you need to play 1 player or 2 players split up. You leave 2 on top, you try and take the fight around them, you try and play some sort of an angle if you can. Now, certainly I'm not a person to tell them exactly what they should be doing. They know what's best with that. But I just feel like when you're benefiting from the circle that much and you know you need to get the kills, if you're not fighting enough, you're also not going to be in a good enough position to fight on out afterwards. And both times we saw it, when they tried to get out, they struggled. They tried to run down that hill afterwards, and they potentially could have been able to find their way in. But there was also, by that time, too many teams around them. And yes, you can't guess where the circle is going to go every time for sure. But when it is benefiting you, you know it's not going to benefit you every single time. You know you need a little bit of space before you can make it work.
Yeah. Usually what you see in PUBG Mobile competitive is teams that have a position that's usually very hard to rotate away from, which that compound of Gun twice in a row, game 1 and game 4, was super, super hard to disengage from and leave. You want to move away from that position as early as you possibly can. And the moment you are on the outskirts, on the edge of a circle, even though you're still in circle, but you're on the edge, the odds of the circle moving away from you are pretty big. The odds are definitely not in your favor. So you want to try and take action as quick as possible. And I think it's great what you just said. Keep a player or two on the back line, onto that tower position, and send the rest of your team to create just a makeshift compound with his car, crash them into a tree, and just go to that position right away. Because it was a snake finish twice in a row, and that's 2 games where Gun were not able to act accordingly and fast enough. So I'm hoping to see Gun, if they are in a similar position where the circle ends up over there, it's done it twice, it could do it a 3rd time. I want to see them just right away understanding that this position is not valuable, because it was not, and just aim for a better spot inside the circle itself for the next phase. I think the Gun will a little bit slow to understand that. So hopefully going into day 2 tomorrow, we'll see a little bit faster response coming out from Gun. But other than that, Gun today proving also that their fighting potential is high up there. They're a top fragging team. Yeah. They still got Nerf Me on their side. So that's great. But now if you want to get even some better fights, good position is definitely one of those things that will help you out tremendously in the next 3 days.
Oh, it certainly will. And that's what we've got ahead of us, Max. The next 3 days will be the rest of the playoffs that we have here for the African region of this spring split. And like we keep mentioning, only one team, the number 1 team, will make it to the PMPL. And that is what's all at stake for these guys. So they've had a bad day today, some of the teams. Some of them had a great day. But it all depends on what is delivered over the next few days. It's all about that consistency. And sometimes you're going to have to take some big risks. And that's what we might see tomorrow. But you're going to have to wait and see. Because for now, we've got to turn off the screens. We've got to shut this down. And we've got to get ourselves ready for tomorrow's games. Thank you very much for joining us as always. Make sure you're back at the same time every day for the next 3 days to see what's going to happen and which team is going to represent the African region in the PMPL.